Hey, this is Mike Herrera. You're listening to Magnified Pod.
This is a yelling podcast. From poking at you to plans and everything in between, this is Magnified Pod, the only podcast that discusses culture, religion, politics, and the entire discography of everyone's favorite left coast punks, MxPx. And we're back.
Yay.
John, this is the first episode that we're doing where we are filming it.
Hey.
And we're going to see if this is actually a complete disaster or not. So it could be. Who knows? Who knows if it'll work?
I think it's going to be great. I think we're going to nail it like everything we do as part of this enterprise.
Yeah, everything that we have tried for this podcast has been a 100%. We have a 100% success rate with everything.
As far as I'm concerned.
Including our bit that we will never let die. Best life.
Oh, yeah. We got a couple of tall, frosty best lives right here.
These are the last four, bro.
Oh, man. We really got to savor them.
We have to savor it.
Make sure to savor your final cans, or they might savor you. That sounds great.
Yeah. So is it like, it's like that Russia joke, yeah, in Russia, the beer savors you.
Right. It doesn't make quite as much sense, but that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
You're Andrew, by the way.
I'm Andrew.
I am John.
Yes, and I think it's easier if we're recording. We don't use film.
No, not filming.
It's not filming or taping. They use neither.
Taping is hard to let go of. Yeah, we're recording.
We're recording. Yeah, it's one of those terms that I don't think has ever left the common vernacular.
Did you tape it?
Yeah, like also the same thing with roll your window down. It's like,
yeah, good point.
You're not rolling,
What do you do now? You just kind of press it down?
Ellen DeGeneres has that joke about how there's no, the gesture that people still do, but you just look like an idiot if you went like this.
Just click your finger. Not the same effect.
Nope. So, John, let's you've been cleaning your glasses for like 45 minutes.
These glasses are always completely gross, and it's because this is the most boring thing I've ever talked about. Because the wipes, the cleaning cloths are always so dirty, and I forget to wash them ever, and so it takes a really long time to clean.
Shit, sorry. What were we talking about?
In conclusion, that's why I am a punk.
Yeah, I'm also feeling more self-conscious than usual
because you're on that cam, you're on that film.
On that film,
you're sending all those ones and zeros to Russia.
Yeah, the
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, what's up, Mark? I wanted to toast to the pod and to our best lives.
That's right.
It's very good.
Delish.
But John, there's one other thing that we need to toast to. Because we are recording this on Friday tonight. Friday tonight. We're recording Friday tonight, and it is the 2nd. But on Tuesday, it's a big day. Mike's birthday.
Mikey's birthday.
But we will not be recording until after that. And since we toasted to Tom,
it's only fair.
But
you got
I figured we would have to do it in the spirit of this. And I think we need to be Satan in the car, sipping from a flask.
I support it. This one is not signed by Mike.
This one's not signed by Mike, but it is repping 2 Chicago distilleries. One of which is the flask is from Few, which is in Evanston.
Good stuff.
And then the bourbon itself is from Koval.
Yes.
So
Thank you, sir.
here, why don't you?
Mike, here's to you, bud.
It's
Little nip.
bourbon, so
Yeah, puts me in that tumble down spirit.
that's kind of. So
Ooh,
here's what I
that's
was thinking.
So good.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Cheers to you, Koval.
Cheers to you, Mike Carrera.
Also that.
So I was thinking, what would be Mike's drink of choice? And I would think it would be bourbon or whiskey of some kind, since they sing about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
With Tumble Down.
Until Best Life came out, and now that's all he
Yeah,
is
that's
interested in.
well, and wine.
And Anchor Valley wine.
I was thinking Anchor Valley. I was thinking about wine, but like
Big Pinot head.
he is a big Pinot head. That sounds super insulting.
He's got a huge Pinot head.
Yeah, but I was also thinking like tequila. I don't know, being down in Texas, but I didn't think nothing ever. You know, when at a Punktoberfest, when Mike was like making that joke to the kids about like,
Right.
you know, he's like, no, you know, you can drink tequila when you're 21, but don't drink tequila until you're like 30.
Right. You don't really drink tequila when you're 21.
Tequila,
Just pound it.
yeah.
and
Tequila
lick the
drinks
salt
you.
out. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, tequila drank me a lot
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
But this whiskey's going down smooth, just like Mike is aging
Yeah. I
gracefully and smoothly. and
he's still, you know, I want to have this accessible to both of us.
Thank you.
I'm nervous
It's gonna
about
spill on
that we're
any
gonna-
number of electronics.
ruining 2 computers, the poking at you punk, the table. I don't fuck the table. What do I care about the table?
I'll just make a noise when I want some.
Okay.
I'll go,
That makes sense. So we'll just have it.
so far from me now.
Okay. Well, what
just
do you
kidding.
what,
It's fine.
what,
It's fine.
what do you want? All right, you can just
It looks great.
keep Evanston weird is what it says. So now
Who did that first? Is that Portland? Austin?
I don't know. That's a
Maybe
good question.
Austin. We should ask Mike since he lives close to Austin.
That's true. Here's the thing. We speaking of Texas, I was pulling up our statistics for downloads, and I think I mentioned this on a recent ep that Texas has been in the number 3 spot.
A lot of MagPod heads down there.
Right, but they're closing in on Illinois.
Ooh.
So shout out to Texas for closing in on our home state. So
It's probably a lot of Ted Cruz downloads in there. He loves our show. He's always saying
I
that.
think we also made that joke
Last time.
but we didn't. The joke we did that we forgot to make was about Beto O'Rourke because he was in a punk band back in the day.
That's right.
So
See,
if
I
there's-
just wanted to give you the layup here. 'cause
Thank
I knew
you.
wanted to talk
Nailed
about
it.
this again.
Yeah, because we blew it last time. But I'm really hoping. I'm really pulling for Beto
Yeah.
in this election. I think that'd be. See, look at this. This is from the past, since August to October.
California big.
California, Illinois, Texas. Texas has been closing in.
Yeah.
Canada too.
Hey,
Saskatchewan.
man.
I didn't even know. Got a lot of MagPod fans in Saskatchewan. I don't know anything about Saskatchewan at all.
I'm sure
So
it's a better place to be than here.
that's
about all I know.
That is probably a guarantee. So for the people living in Saskatchewan, hit us up. What do you do in Saskatchewan? What's the culture like?
Go to Regina.
Is that Saskatchewan?
I think so.
Is it? We are
like
Americans. And
kind of thing we should know since they're super close to us, but we know nothing.
We're totally ignorant. God, we're the worst. Yeah. So anyway, I can talk about statistics for a little while.
Yes, Regina is the capital of Saskatchewan.
Okay, cool. So for my day job, I'm a data analyst. So this sort of stuff interests me.
You love crunching those numbies.
Got to get those numbies. Got to get those Excel spreadsheets. Work those pivot tables, son.
You're always shouting that.
I'm always in my office. I'm just standing up from my desk, like, rock those pivots, bitch. I guess.
Yeah.
Nope. I guess not. I wanted to get to some voicemails before we get into really the meat of anything heavy. So we had some voicemails following up from our Def Leppard episode.
Yes.
Still
our most successful to date.
To everybody, we actually it's gotten better. More,
All right.
I think we kind of leaned on people to be like, hey bros, check it out. It's a solid app. We're into it. And so it's not amazing, but anyway, on a previous app we had Nick Polk Nicky P call and share a story about his he was maybe 12 or 13.
Yeah, I think
he's
so.
A teenager, maybe he's 12 or whatever, and his uncle took him to a show to see Def Leppard and Journey, and he was talking about this woman he was describing in this very 80s aesthetic, and we weren't sure what era this was, and so he actually called to clarify.
All right.
To clarify that story a bit.
Hello, dudes. It is Nicky P responding to what year it was that I went to that concert. And it's actually funny. I am but a wee tyke, and I am only 25 years old. So, actually 2003 was the year that I actually saw.
Incredible.
Oh, no.
So I think that the old lady titties were definitely in order. They were at least in their 30s or 40s. I think I was about
All right.
But it was actually, another side note, it was actually the first year I skipped church camp because I saw Def Leppard and Journey, and my mom was a little afraid that I had sold my soul to Beelzebub. So, anyway, those are some of the missing beats of that story. Keep up the good work. Still looking forward to the next Def Leppard episode. Smooches, my guys. Magnified Pod for life.
Yes. Thank you, Nick.
Yes, thank you. So that bums me out quite a bit.
I love that we were like, it wasn't like 2003.
And he's like, yep.
It was exactly
It was
when
exactly
it was.
2003.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it makes me, I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, what is going to be the sort of analogous kind of, like, when we're like 50.
Yeah.
If we're still rocking like
Limp Bizkit and
we don't even
Korn.
like Limp Bizkit now.
Oh, I was just thinking what would be an identifier.
I think one of the tragedies of Limp Bizkit is that Trump ruined the red hat for Fred Durst.
Oh yeah. What does he do now?
I don't even know.
He's like directing movies and stuff now.
I thought so, but wasn't there something recently where, I can't remember if we talked about this or not, where maybe it was Violent J from ICP tried to dropkick Fred Durst on stage?
Who did that? Does sound familiar. What a weird thing to have talked about twice.
And he whiffed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a sad time.
that's not the kind of band you were trying to name.
No,
there, but
no.
still.
But this will kind of get into conversation a little bit. But we have another voicemail about Def Leppard.
Hey, it's Danny calling. I completely forgot to mention this or to leave a voicemail previously, and I feel like you've probably already wrapped up the Def Leppard talk from that podcast.
Never.
But this story I can't really tell in a tweet, so I was like, well, I'll call and leave a voicemail. So my wife and I went to see Def Leppard on this current tour, and like one of the 2 closing nights at the Forum, with Journey as the closer of the night, but Def Leppard opened it, and we were way up in the back, but in the Forum, it's like every seat looks good. And I took Instagram stories from MxPx memes Instagram, and I was hoping people would be like, why am I watching Def Leppard and Journey footage from an MxPx memes account? But if you saw that, that's how far up we were, if you saw that footage I left. And we were right in front of a guy who was so pumped to be at the show. And at one point, and my wife heard all kinds of stuff he was saying. I didn't really hear most of the stuff he was saying. But at one point, like 2 or 3 songs in, he just starts going, "That's old school. That's old school. That's old school." Like, he just kept saying that. Like, everyone's, like, he's just so happy that he's viewing something that's old school, that he couldn't contain himself, and he needed everyone around him, or at least his friends, to know, "That's old school." He was saying it in a happy voice. He was just so excited that what he was watching was old school. So I had to, that's the kind of hysteria that Def Leppard
Nailed it.
brings out of people. Anyway, Leppard for life.
Leopard for life. I mean, that works, I guess. That's fine.
That too.
That's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
It really adrenalized me to hear it.
Yep.
That was good. I mean, in that guy's defense, if we were at an MxPx show and they started playing Walking By,
That's old
that's
school.
old school.
If they did play Walking By, I would be super pumped.
Me too.
But I wanted to move on to the question of actually before we do that, we have a voicemail from Jen Mandigo.
Hey guys, it's Jen. I just listened to the last 2 episodes, and I made a list of the things that I wanted to respond to. Number 1,
Smart.
I do not know who Harry Knuckles guy is.
Dang it.
Shit.
Even when you read the name from the record, it didn't sound familiar to me, so sorry, I don't know who that is. I do not know Bremerton Bry, never met her.
Damn it.
Never lived in Bremerton, actually, just sort of Bremerton adjacent.
Sure.
I did meet Andrea, though. So,
Ooh.
What?
if ever there was a girl to be engaged to, she was it. She was actually really nice.
Need more
Let's
deets.
see. Oh, I appreciate your shout-outs to mental health and that you guys talk about that on the pod. Hopefully, in the future, that can be something you talk about a little bit more. And I was really excited when you said that you are thinking about potentially interviewing Seth Roberts. He is one of my absolute favorite musicians, so I am looking forward to that. I think that's all that I had. Basically, I don't know anything. So thanks for the work, you guys, and I look forward to hearing the next one. Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Jen.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Jen. There's a lot to break down there. So she mentioned all the stuff she didn't know, but she did just casually say she mentioned and that she met Andrea.
It's slid that in there.
And no follow-up? Like,
Need more information.
how did you meet her? Where did you meet her? How did it come about that she's like, I'm Andrea from the song? Or
Were you in Kentucky?
were you
on a
walking
bridge?
down a dirt road? Like, that is a whole voicemail in itself, Jen. Come on. We need some more.
Follow up, have you met Kristalina?
And is she so cool? So that was a conversation that was going down on Twitter today about pop punk and girls and the kinds of songs that pop punk bands write about girls, and it's more kind of in the vein of Blink 182 and Danny, who we heard from MxPx memes, was saying that the kind of some of the songs that MxPx sang and that Mike wrote, that a lot of the girls were not necessarily objectified or dismissed, with the exception of GSF, but it wasn't. It has its own problematic issues, but when you think about somebody like Crystalina, it was just a song about a girl that he thought was cool. Like,
Right.
It wasn't like somebody he was trying to bang.
Yeah.
He said that she wasn't into him, but he still wanted to be friends with him. He still wanted to be friends with her regardless of any relationship potential.
Right. She happens to like boys,
But not Mike.
which I'm still not clear if that means Mike doesn't like boys or Kristalina doesn't like Mike. I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
I'm a mess.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting.
Yeah, even in Blink songs where they're not just straight up objectifying women back in the day, it was still like,
I need
know,
a girl that I can train.
yes, that's a rough one. But like, his girlfriend brings him tacos late at night and she's just up watching Vacation and stuff. Like, still this dream girl that doesn't exist and is there to meet all his needs. Yeah.
The cool girl myth
Right.
that like guys want a. It's weird because these are probably the same guys that are, might be, I don't know, maybe on the homophobic spectrum, but at the same time, they essentially want a dude that's a girl that they can have sex with. They want a dude
Right.
for a relationship.
Right. But that dude has to look a certain way.
And it has to look
Looks
like a girl.
hot lady. He
Yeah.
wants her to pound pizza and beer, but be thin and hot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a thing.
No. I mean, there are
I'm sure there are
beautiful women who pound beer and pizza. Let's not discount that notion. But the idea that there's this manic pixie dream girl,
Yes.
cool girl, magic
Yeah.
lady who meets all your needs.
Yeah, shout out to Pop Culture Detective, who we've shouted out on previous episodes. In our episode where we talked about Hufflepuff and masculinity. So he has a video called Born Sexy Yesterday,
Right, yeah.
where it's essentially this trope where a woman is super naive. Maybe she's an alien. Maybe she, I don't know, was robot.
Mermaid.
She was mermaid. Yes, Splash. Whether she was just introduced to the world in whatever situation, whatever the first guy she meets, this is like the epitome of all knowledge that she has of anybody. She's going to think he's the smartest, the best guy, and she believes everything he says. And so it's this sort of like naivete that men for some reason find especially sexy, this lack of experience.
Right.
And like almost like a girl that you can train.
Yep.
That she doesn't know anything, so she will
teach her.
Teach her
all the sexy ways. She hasn't been ruined by other men.
Yeah, and she has no self-awareness, so especially in a lot of movies, there's like they show the woman like taking off clothes and like because
whoa, you don't need to do that.
She doesn't know.
What?
And so
But
it's
she's so hot.
But she's so hot. But boobs.
I want a boner, but she's also sort of my kid student.
Yeah, right. But compare that with like if a man was like the same way,
Right.
would that be anywhere nearly as like what would be appealing to a woman about an infantilized man who's like, I don't know how to do anything. Like,
Yeah.
but that it's so pervasive. It's
Right.
it's super weird.
Yes.
How do we get on this topic?
Tweets about pop punk girls.
Okay, and Kristalina. That's right.
You should shout out the Blink 155 pods.
Blink 155.
Latest app.
Yeah. So, sort of a. If you haven't checked out Blink 155, it's a. Speaking of Canada,
Canadian.
yeah, Canadians.
Maybe they're in Saskatchewan. I'm not sure.
They're in two different territories.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they don't. It's weird. They actually, when they first started the pod, they didn't really know each other very well.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Still waiting on that crossover.
yeah, still wait on that crossover app,
happen.
guys. We'll make that happen. Going from the Jen Mandigo voicemail, we'll go to this one from Danny Stairs.
What's up, dudes? This is your boy Danny Stairs. Just wondering what you're calling me about the audio quality when I'm doing 90 on the highway. You all want me to focus on my fucking phone messages to you and fucking wreck my car. You want to record me fucking dying, guys? Come on, guys.
Whoa,
Have a little heart.
Buddy,
Okay,
cool it.
so here's the thing. Yeah, so we called Danny Stairs out for his poor audio quality in the voice messages.
He was fairly clear on that one. I'll give him that.
because he was yelling.
Yeah.
But it's not so much in the car. The ones that I feel like we've had most trouble with have not been like in the car on the Bluetooth, but when he's probably doing the shoulder thing, and he's at home and he's
Is that the sound if you want whiskey?
yeah, it sounded more like Chewbacca.
That was pretty good. Chewie, I can barely understand you. Get your act together.
So there's one thing about this voicemail that is troubling to me.
Doing 90?
Why are you doing 90 on the
Seems
highway
excessive.
making phone calls, bro?
I don't know how they do it in Ohio, but...
Danny, we're worried about you, bro.
but,
Take care of yourself, dog. We don't want you... No, we don't want you getting in an accident. And if, wait till you get to work. That way, you don't die because you're going 90 and making phone calls. And we could probably hear you a little bit better. So it's a win-win. You're not dead and we can hear you. So, but anyway, he has some thoughts on when we talked about in the episode, the Let's Rock episode about the tattoos on the knucks.
On the next.
Hey, boys. Danny Stairs again. So I'm forgetting about getting Patreon for a MagPod tattoo. I need to know the level where you're going to get y'all blow tattooed on your ass cheeks. That's the level I'm in at, guys. All right? MagPod for life if you do that. All right. Talk to you later.
John, what's the
We'll have to discuss. Might be like a secret. It's kind of like when you go to, what's the burger chain everybody loves that we don't have here? In-N-Out.
In-N-Out,
And you
yeah.
ask for it animal style or whatever.
Right.
Like, it would be the secret Patreon menu that's not published. Like, we'll work it out off mic.
So this dude, this is what I was looking for. This guy, Trisler PJ,
Good name.
on Instagram was saying that he was wondering if we could get y'all blow on our knucks because that would fit really well.
That's a good point.
And
The apostrophe up there.
yeah, he said that I responded that we may need a Kickstarter for this, and he said he'd support that campaign. There's some Def Leppard Pale Ale in it for you if you do.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Well, getting y'all blow on our knucks would really be a move.
Yeah, that would
That's
be
a mood, as kids say.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. Speaking of the apostrophe, I want to shout out our boy Craig from Australia. His only comment was, "The missing apostrophe kills me."
It's fair. It's fair. You
It
could
is
have
fair.
fit one up there.
It could have been
between the nuts.
I don't know. Like, does this count? This little like fingy line here? I don't know.
Put a parentheses in there.
It's got to be.
Get it right, Harry Nux.
I don't think Harry Nux did. You can't. That would be.
That's fair.
That'd be rough.
Yeah.
You'd have to
Drawing
be
it on your own nuts.
seriously ambidextrous.
Well, maybe he is. We don't know much about Harry.
No, we don't.
We know his real name, but
Yeah, we couldn't look up the.
not interested.
Nope, fail. Jen doesn't know him, so I don't care.
Yep.
I wanted to. Let's transition to the question of the week.
Is the answer in the question?
So, QOT dubs.
QOT dubs. I asked, is there a band or artist or album that you consider to be your guilty pleasure? So, shirt size small, girl talks all day.
I don't get, how is that a guilty pleasure? That's
I don't
just
know.
a pleasure. Straight
Yeah.
up.
I don't know.
I guess there's a lot of naughty words in it sampled from other songs.
Alex Retro, the Weezer album Ratitude.
I've heard that before, that like it seems like the kind of thing you should just dismiss, but it's actually better than you think. I just remember...
Didn't people say that the same thing about Pinkerton?
Oh, perhaps, but Ratitude is no Pinkerton. I feel confident about saying that.
No, but
Look
I
at
mean,
this
like,
album cover.
the album cover is amazing.
It's a dog flying through the air.
Yep.
And Ratitude. It's just, I don't know what's happening.
It is an amazing cover. Nick Polk. I listened to this South Park movie soundtrack on the regular.
They're great songs.
That's pretty amazing.
on that movie.
Leo, Welcome the Night by the Ataris. A lot of Ataris fans hate that album because it's so different, but I love it. We have our first mention of Taylor Swift, the Red Album.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Okay, Taylor Swift is not a guilty pleasure for me because she's a genuine pleasure.
Yeah.
I was not a fan until 1989, which is a very solid record front to back. Can't really speak to the Red Album. I feel like I gave it one listen and I was kind of like, meh. So maybe they're saying the Red Album specifically is the guilty pleasure, but if you're saying Tay-Tay is guilty, I can't get behind that. I'm fully on board the Taylor train.
Carly Rae Jepsen, or
Also-
The Midnight.
Also
is
fully
another
on
one.
board the Carly
Okay.
train.
Yeah, so we have Danny Stairs is the only person to leave us a voicemail regarding the question of the week. I was surprised that we didn't get more feedback on the question of the week.
Come on, guys.
But thanks for those who participated. But here's Danny Stairs.
What's up, you beautiful bastard? It's your boy Danny Stairs calling response to the question of the week. I gotta say, my guilty pleasure, musically, the hopeless romantic in me goes back to some old school T Swift, baby.
Yeah.
You know, I just, sometimes I gotta feel like I'm a 16-year-old girl in love or whatever, I guess, but just, you know, I hit that mood. I just gotta do it, you know, that's me. I'm a lover, not a fighter, as you guys well know from when we met. So, anyhow, MagPod we'll give you a week. I can't commit to life yet, but MagPod for a week.
That's fair.
So, he is a lover, not a fighter, as we know, because we made sweet, sweet love.
Yes, that's what he's referencing.
That's what it's from all the intercourse that we had.
Oh boy.
Okay. So I have some takes on this.
Are they fiery?
Well, maybe.
Flames?
So I asked this question, curious about whether or not how people would respond. I had a two-part part of the question, but I decided to just leave it to the open to the interpretation of the responder. And it took me a while, but I have decided to reject and purge the phrase guilty pleasure from my vocabulary.
I support that.
Because, as you said about Taylor Swift and about some of the other artists,
Carly Rae,
if you throw down on some T Swift or some Carly Rae or Girl Talk or whatever, and you get genuine pleasure from it,
yeah,
fuck feeling guilty about it for whatever reason people think they should feel guilty about it. If you are a 48-year-old punk rocker
it's gonna be
and
us
you
soon.
and you throw down on some Taylor Swift 1989, fuck yeah, do it. If you're a metalhead and you like to get down with some some I don't know, easy listening or some jazz, or who cares? So there's this idea that there are certain kinds of music that are valued more than others. And I think that's absurd. And I think it's mostly the case with certain kinds of pop music because it's seen as almost like it's disposable.
Right, yeah.
And that it is not at the same level as something else. But yeah, so can pop music be sort of like trite and formulaic? Sure. Are there artists and bands that I don't listen to? Yeah. Am I going to give any energy into caring about that anymore? No. I just don't care. There is this great Patton Oswalt bit where he talks about selling out and how that's something that he used to care about a lot when he was 25. He's like, oh, Creed, Nickelback, they only make music for like money and pussy. Do you know that? And and he's like, if I could go back and talk to my 25-year-old self and be like, do you know what some people in this world do for money and pussy? They kill people.
Right.
They do horrible war crimes to make this power, to get power. And his bit goes, and all Nickelback wanted to do was say, look at them there, the bear. And and he's like, and if you think about it, they're kind of heroes.
Hero.
So I used to be a virulent anti-Nickelback guy. And I honestly just don't care anymore. Do I listen to Nickelback? No. But I just don't. What is the point about? It's just music elitism. It's gotten to a point where it's just it feels gross to me, and I think part of it is because of this podcast, and I've discovered how subjective everything is. So, Teenage Politics, we love that record.
Right.
Other people, not so much.
Yeah.
Some people really like Before Everything and After and Secret Weapon. Those are not our jams. And that's fine. Am I going to go to another MxPx fan and try and make an argument for why my experience with Teenage Politics is better? That's a waste of time, and it just won't make any difference because how someone else experienced the band is completely subjective and based on their own life experience.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with all that. I feel like there's a difference between a guilty pleasure and a problematic fave, quote unquote.
Okay.
I think I'm more likely to feel guilty about an artist whose life or lyrics I feel uncomfortable with
Sure.
than like music itself. Because like we said, I was jamming on Carly Rae Jepsen this morning. She's got a new single out. It's great.
Damn. I didn't know that.
I was a late convert to Taylor, as we've talked about.
Avril Lavigne has a new album.
Wow, that's a deep cut. Perhaps it's great. So yeah, I feel no guilt about any of those things. I love pop music. But I mean, we've spent plenty of time talking about Kanye.
Sure.
Who now, by the way, says he made a mistake with any of the Donald Trump stuff. Andrew's thrown the middle fingers up. I
don't buy that for a second.
And even Michael Jackson, like
Sure.
one of perhaps my favorite entertainer of all time. Feel pretty weird about that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, that you're right about sort of making the differentiating between guilty pleasures and problematic faves, which kind of goes back to one of our very early episodes where we talked about separating the artist and the art.
Right. And I know that's kind of a separate conversation, but I guess I'm just saying, like, I only feel guilt really when I feel like, ooh, I don't know about that or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of Blink songs, like we were talking about, I'd consider everything off of, let's say, Enema of the State forward for a couple albums.
Yeah.
Kind of guilty pleasures, because like you were saying, I Need a Girl That I Can Train. Not super great.
Not super great.
Do you know Die Antwoord?
Oh, yes.
I've seen them in concert several times.
Oh, really?
I find them fascinating. For those who
Interesting.
don't know, they're a South African Zeph, is what they call themselves. Kind of like weird hip hop. You're not really sure if it's a joke.
It's very creepy.
They wear weird masks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm super into it, and I guess I kind of feel like that's a guilty pleasure because I'm like, I don't really know like what this is about, but I'm drawn to it, so therefore it's a
Yeah.
genuine pleasure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine line, I suppose.
Well, one of the reasons this has been on my mind lately, and as someone who does, because I thought you did stuff like writing kind of about music and blogging and stuff about music for a while, didn't you?
Sure, yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah. Still now to some extent.
Okay. What publication was that for? Did you do like the Reader, or am I making that up?
No, I mean, I've written about music for Sojourners and Christian Century and where I work now and a couple other places.
I thought there was some more
Covenant
like
Companion, perhaps.
Chicago-based thing that you worked with.
Yeah, Tim Mortensen, our
Okay.
buddy from college, had this thing for a while that I cannot remember the name of it now.
Okay.
But maybe that's what it was.
Okay. Anyway, so I bring this up because of Greta Van Fleet.
Ah,
Are you familiar?
yeah.
So Greta Van Fleet is a young rock band from Michigan, and they just released an album in the past couple weeks, and it's called Anthem of the Peaceful Army, and I get down with it, and I think first off they're four dudes, three of them are brothers. The ages of the band range from 19 to 22, so they're young dudes. And Pitchfork, Anthony Fantano from the Needle Drop, and other publications have written and published scathing reviews of their debut album, completely panning it, just being really like brutal about how they're not only are they, very much influenced by Led Zeppelin and how the lead singer has Robert Plant inspired vocals, but they're just like saying that they're essentially hacks and that they are lifting almost exclusively from Led Zeppelin and altogether dismissing them as a terrible band.
So Pitchfork wrote something pretentious and dismissive?
Oh my God, it's
so surprising.
It's so unbearable. And when I saw the review when it was posted, and this guy, Jeremy Larson, and he gave it a 1.6.
Come on.
Fuck you. He says it's stiff, hackneyed, overly precious retro fetishism. So I hope when I grow up, and I'm already 34, so I sound like I'm a child when I say that. When I grow up, but like when I'm older, I hope I'm not as cynical and as dull as people who write these kinds of reviews.
Yeah.
It opens up with Greta Van Fleet sound like they did weed exactly once, called the cops, and tried to record a Led Zeppelin album before they arrested themselves.
Did weed? That's weird.
Yeah, but
word choice.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy doesn't sound like he's ever done weed. So I'm not here to necessarily defend Greta Van Fleet, even though I legitimately like this album and think it's great. Mm-hmm. And I think that they have a career ahead of them as a very, very promising rock band. But we also, and I'm not even gonna go out and say like, you know, and necessarily defend Led Zeppelin, but, and this might be controversial, but I feel like we need to stop sucking Led Zeppelin's dick for a second.
Okay.
You know, there is I just feel like there's this understanding, and this kind of goes back to the whole guilty pleasure about the hierarchy of what is legitimate music and what's not legitimate music.
Sure.
So some people might say that, oh, you know, music. I mean, everybody sounds like their grandfather when they's like, oh, you know, music nowadays is, you know, music was better in the 90s. Oh, music was better in the 60s. Oh, music was better in, you know, in the, you know, the 40s when they were in 50s when it was real rock and roll, and when, oh, music was better in the 20s when jazz and big band. It's like everybody has this sort of feeling that every generation of music is perpetually worse.
Right. We all know that the 90s are when rock achieved its pinnacle, but
of course
it's fine.
But it just sort of it drives me crazy. And I this Rolling Stone article, it's called Rock and Roll's Anxiety of Influence. I would encourage everybody to go check it out, check out the article. And so one of the things that they point out, is that when people have this, when somebody else can point to and say, oh, this is Led Zeppelin, then it feels like they're like, oh, I know exactly who that is, and now it's just it's a ripoff, and so therefore we can easily dismiss it. But for other bands, like they highlight Nirvana, how Nirvana and Kurt Cobain had a very clear influence by the Pixies.
Yes.
But if it's not as overt, it's almost seen as like it's an homage,
Right.
and therefore if it's sort of like back padding where you're like, oh, I feel like there's like this Pixie influence.
Right.
If it's you sort of feel good about this, like it's like sort of self-congratulatory that you were able to determine the influence. But because if it's not obvious, then you're just like, oh, it's great.
Yeah, sure.
But if it is obvious, or if too many people know, if the band that's the influencer is big enough,
Right.
then it's like, oh, fuck those guys. They're ripping off whoever.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's this sort of weird double standard. Like, what's the difference between somebody who is, if the band is like, and they go through all these other bands that have a very much who have been critiqued, and like the Black Crowes, who were kind of critiqued for sounding a little bit too much like the Rolling Stones, and other a whole host of bands that were critiqued for sounding too much like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
But so all that to say, like, Led Zeppelin blatantly ripped off a ton of artists in their career, and didn't even like give the proper credit
Right.
to
Like
who.
black artists.
Yes.
And they were white dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were, and a lot of folk artists, and there've been lawsuits against them, and then the artists will have now been given the proper credit after the fact. So, and this is part of why, like, if you do it sort of like, if your influences are like kind of, it's like under the table that maybe not everybody knows.
Right.
And now everybody can, the way music is and the internet is, everybody can kind of figure it out nowadays. Like, it's like, oh, that sounds like this. But that's also how everybody compares everything.
Yeah.
It's so like, oh, this is sort of like a combination between this band and this band. That's how everybody talks. But if it's like a very obscure band, you're just like, it's a self-congratulatory thing that you can be like, oh, I heard this like really small thing that sounds like this, and aren't I so smart that I was able to pick up that thing? And it's like, I guess, but I don't know. It's becoming relatively unbearable to me.
Yeah.
That every single record needs to be dissected.
Sure.
And why can't I throw on Greta Van Fleet and be like, hey man, I dig it. Maybe they are super influenced by Led Zeppelin. I don't really care, because also they talked about a whole bunch of other blues records that they were influenced by. Elton John is really into Greta Van Fleet.
Interesting.
So he actually like played a show with them. So I don't know. Is this?
Yeah.
Am I off base?
No, I
here?
am totally with you. It's interesting. I don't know Greta Van Fleet super well, but I did not know that they'd been attacked like that
in a big way.
It's interesting. I mean, I was an aspiring, and I guess remain an aspiring critic for a long time. I wanted to do film criticism and music criticism, and I have had stuff published related to those fields, and I eventually kind of accepted, like, those are very it's a dying industry within a dying industry. There's not a lot out there for that, and so I engage with it when I can. But I will say, like, most people get into criticism because they love whatever the stuff is that they're talking about, whether it's music or film or food or whatever. And like, I don't think that people get into it to write shitty reviews. But there's this great, I actually think the movie Ratatouille has a very thoughtful take on criticism. Anton Ego, the restaurant critic, in the end, the whole movie kind of like,
will you judge me if I've never seen Ratatouille?
I will not, but Patton Oswalt, your boy,
I love
signed my copy of Ratatouille.
What?
Because he does the voice of the rat in it. So.
Oh, because you saw him.
I've seen him a couple times. He also, when I was working at the AV Club, he came through there a couple times, and
that's what I was
what
thinking.
you're talking
I was
about,
thinking
yeah.
about the AV Club.
I never got anything. I never got any real reviews published there, just like news stories and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, anyway, the point of that movie is kind of like he's got this whole great monologue about how it's fun to write really mean reviews, and there's clicks there and stuff, which I think is still a thing. But like, I do think people get into it for the love of it. I think Pitchfork was kind of like a joke for a while because they had this idea of being these tastemakers, and they were notorious for writing these really bad reviews. But I do know folks there too, and there's a lot of great writers there, and they write a lot of really good reviews. So yeah, I just think, to your point about like, there was kind of this like circle of critics, especially at places like Rolling Stone, where it was like white dudes of a certain background. And Led Zeppelin came up and Rolling Stones constantly in reviews. And I think that's blown out a little now, where it's like there are more kinds of people writing, there are more mediums for that writing. And even I think it speaks to like music distribution a little bit, because it used to be this kind of coveted thing, and like, you know, for better or for worse, we'd find records. Like, I remember buying albums without having listened to them based on the description of a review, and being like, well, I can't listen to it, but I'm going to buy it and take the risk. And sometimes that would really pay off, so I'm grateful for that. But there was also a lot of like, yeah, this inner circle of like, we decide the bands, we decide what's cool. And I feel like that has blown up to some extent.
Right.
But I think you're right that remains, where it's just like, yeah, there's always going to be guys who want to write about Led Zeppelin. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a complicated thing, criticism. Most people are just trying to write about stuff that they're really passionate about, but it's very easy to fall in traps of like what it looks like to be, you know, a journalist about an art form. Like, inevitably the traps come with that of like putting people into boxes and writing to be funny and pithy instead of like what really excites you. So
yeah.
Anyway,
No, I'm 100% on board with that. I don't know. To just eviscerate a band, it just almost feels, you know, unnecessary.
yeah,
Because if most of your review is just shitting all over the band and not necessarily about the album.
Yeah, the music itself, right?
You know, it's just like,
yeah, you had a narrative you wanted to drive here.
yeah.
Here's time for the David Bazan corner real quick.
Okay, let's hit it.
He's got an entire song dedicated to one particular Pitchfork reviewer.
Does he?
This is Ryan Schreiber, who started Pitchfork, but they are notoriously like, they would just shit on Pedro and the early Bazan solo stuff, because they were just like, "Ooh, he's a Christian guy," and like,
Fuck
so
that.
Bazan's first solo EP, he's got a whole song about like how much he hates what they're doing. And since then, I think they've written nicer things since then. But that's the David Bazan corner. He's got very specific opinions about Pitchfork.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they probably started shifting how they write about him after he changed his theology, which is super transparent.
Yeah.
You know, so here's a question about actually, before I get to that, I just want to say one more thing about. I don't know if I said this earlier when I was talking about Nickelback, but so Nickelback is just like this band that seems to be just the band that everybody loves to hate.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I appreciate about them is that they seem to have a sense of humor about it.
Sure. Are
They
still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
They know people hate them. And so in one of the more recent Jimmy Kimmel, you know how Jimmy Kimmel does the mean tweets?
Mm-hmm.
Nickelback was on there, and they said one of the tweets was like, I would rather stab myself in the taint than listen to a Nickelback song.
Okay.
And Chad Kroger said, that's funny. That's actually how we make Nickelback songs. And
That's pretty good.
I'm like,
Good job, Chad.
yeah. So, like, I thought that was, they seem to not give a shit. Probably because they're just like sleeping on piles of money.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
And people buy their albums. So, who cares? I don't know. So I just don't want to give. There's already enough things in the world to be upset about.
Yeah.
Nickelback doesn't need to be one of them.
That's fair.
Greta Van Fleet doesn't need to be one of them.
Yeah.
I would so much rather put my energy toward like literally anything else.
Right. Yeah.
Than
It does seem kind of weird to be like, it's a little derivative of classic rock when, like, we're sending the military down to kill immigrants or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, not that that's kind of a false equivalence, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but also, like, who cares about classic rock?
Right.
It seems it's like one generation who lived through it. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else pretending to care.
Sounds like baby boomers across the board about any number of things.
Yeah. There are millennials and they're living in their parents' basements and whatever.
They're not living their best life.
No, they're not.
The voice sounded a little like that.
So, like, here's my final thing I'll say about this. So these guys are playing in a band, they're making music. If it's bringing them joy,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
What is the problem? So they're making music that somebody might, say they're hacks or it's derivative. But if it's bringing millions of people joy, good.
Yeah.
That is good. Like Pete Holmes has this joke about like, Pete Holmes is a comedian. He has this, what he calls an easy laugh. And some people are like critique people who are easy laughs or whatever. But he's also a loud laugher. And so he has this joke about like when, people say, oh, you're laughing too loud, or you're really loud, can you stop laughing? It's like, that sound you make when you're experiencing joy, can you stop doing that?
Right.
Like, something is bringing, someone's making music and it's bringing someone joy, like, I'm not going to be like, stop being happy.
Yeah. I give your joy a 1.6.
Yeah, fuck you, Pitchfork. It's almost like you can almost see this with almost any review kind of thing. Almost inevitably, you go to Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure.
And the critic and audience scores are almost always inverse.
Yeah.
Because the audience is like, yeah, I like this movie. And some people like, the critic's like, I do declare, I can see the very clear influences of this. Like, bro, not ever. Like, I do. I'm not trying to dismiss
Sure.
the very clear importance of historical context with the critiques of art, literature, film, whatever that's relevant. But keeping in mind, 99% of people are not going into a film or putting on an album or reading a book with a PhD level of knowledge
Right.
about a hyper-specific topic.
This gets back to our boy, the Rolling Stone guy who wrote about Def Leppard. And I
Right.
think you're arguing against yourself here a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Because he was just like, these dudes just want to rock 5 stars.
4 stars.
4 stars. And I think there's...
Am I playing chess against myself here?
I think criticism has an important role to play within art, like you're saying, in the sense of sort of providing context and being historians and having a back and forth conversation between the makers and the commentators. But yes, when it gets down to the level of like good or not, and like that just kind of misses the
Fuck this 19-year-old kid
Right,
from
yeah.
Michigan.
yeah. Nice try, asshole.
I mean, I would encourage, like, okay, so maybe Greta Van Fleet isn't going to be everybody's jam, and maybe somebody's going to be like, oh, but I don't know. I honestly, when I listen to Greta Van Fleet, I don't entirely hear Led Zeppelin as much as I hear Rush. I hear more Geddy Lee in his voice than I do.
Is it super high?
It's very high. And also Rush, another one of those bands that...
Guilty pleasure?
No, I'm not guilty pleasure. A band...
Straight up pleasure?
Straight up pleasure. Because I like prog rock. I know prog rock
Amen.
is one of those things that people are like, whatever, they don't want to listen to 9-minute songs.
Those bass lines, though?
But I listen to Neil Peart, bro.
Yeah, man.
I listen to progressive metal. Between the Buried and Me is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'll listen to a 13-minute metal song with
man.
overtures of like,
Tool?
yeah, like why not?
I'm into it.
Not every band needs to write a 2.5-minute, 3-minute song for the radio. Music can be, can move people in different ways. And yeah, Rush might not be, shout out to Canada again.
Yeah, that's right. Canada really dominating this out.
Yeah. This is our Canada ep. Shout out to Saskatchewan. I'm not exactly sure where Rush is from, but
Yeah. If only there was some sort of device.
but I'll just vamp about Geddy Lee.
I mean, what I will say is I think it's time for MxPx's 13-minute metal prog rock
Toronto.
epic.
They're from Toronto.
Okay.
Holy shit! They originated in 1968.
Wow.
Holy
That's earlier
shit!
than I would have thought.
They've been around for so long.
It's been a while.
It's been a while
In closing,
since Geddy Lee.
I don't think the nickel pod is coming anytime soon.
No.
However, if that's your thing, go crazy. Chat it up.
Look at this photo pod.
That's good. Podograph? No,
Podograph.
that's like what I give out as an autograph.
No, I do think. Look at this podograph. That's better. Every time
boy.
I do it, makes me laugh.
Well, if you have thoughts about Rush or Nickelback or, criticism and the kind of stuff we're talking about, let us
Guilty
know.
pleasures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Email us. Give us a voicemail.
Yeah. 872-762-4763.
AKA,
Is that right?
That's right.
I did that off the dome.
Boom. That's
Nailed
a
it.
727 Magpod.
Boom. This is we're plugging like this is the end of the show.
I know. I'm just saying. We need give us your voicemails.
Yeah,
Give us your emails.
Give us your voice.
Yeah.
Give
Lend
us
us-
your skin.
I think that's as good a place to close out the segment as any.
You think so?
As we always say, give us your skin. And in a little bit, we're going to be talking about the self-titled MxPx album.
Oh, shit.
Number
John.
10.
We have...
AKA Give Us Your Skin. That's what I've always called it. That was the original title.
That was the original title. Yeah, so when we come back, we'll be talking about that self-titled rec. This is... And we're also going to be giving our official top 10 MxPx records.
Albums. It's a big one.
It's a big one. That's what she said.
Boom.
Nailed it. Also what she said. Yeah. And I'm chewing a Starburst into the microphone.
That's right. Stealing my kids' Halloween candy.
Because you're smart.
Yep.
This is a terrible idea to do.
I think it's great. People love the sound of chewing.
Yeah. So, we're talking the subtitled. John, you're going to have to vamp while I haven't had a Starburst in probably like 15 years.
Wow, really? When you think about it, the self-titled record is a lot like a red Starburst.
I'm listening.
It had a few yellows in there, maybe a couple pinks, but then...
Pink is my jam.
I know, I'm just saying, but it's not up to red, is it?
I don't know. I might have to steal more of your kids' candies to find the red or pinks.
And
because I opened one and I got an orange and a yellow.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That was a bummer.
It's kind of like the last few MxPx albums, and then you get to a red one, and you're just like, "Damn, where's the Starburst been?"
Okay,
good intro.
Nailed it. So can I? Okay, we're gonna talk about our top 10 records, but
yeah, we are.
We're gonna wait until we discuss this album first.
Hang on until the very end, people.
Yep. So it's weird because this album is so strong.
Yeah.
It's rolling strong. And it's like I haven't had as hard of a time picking a top 3 as I have maybe since like I would put this in a similar category as Life in General, in that there isn't a Life in General song that I would say is like on par with anything like Secret Weapon, where you're just like, oh boy. There isn't riff-raff on this record. There's not lyrics where I'm just like, oh, boy. You know, like, this album...
It's not a guilty pleasure.
No, this is a straight-up pleasure.
I give it a 1.6, I'd say. It's my highest I can go.
Yeah, it's a C, C minus.
Yep.
It's... So, do we want to get into some of those deets about the... Or do you want to share some more about... Do we want to... Okay, so we have the episode with...
Our first impressions.
We have that, but I was going to say we have our episode with Bremerton Bry.
Yes.
A.K.A. Brian Buchelt, coming out next week.
Yeah.
Where we talk about some of our first experiences with this record, because it was... Our first experience was the music video for Let's Ride.
Yep.
And I mean that was our first, what am I saying, introduction, I guess, to this new
to the new stuff.
To the new stuff. Then, the 6 years since the last record. And I mean, I talked about it a little bit on the Brian episode. What do you
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and we talked about this after we first saw the video, but yeah, it had been 6 years since the
Yellow
last record.
Starburst.
Not the best.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
1.6.
Yeah. This is the Greta Van Fleet of Starburst.
But yeah, I mean, it had been 6 years since the last record, but also it had been like, I don't know, 15 years since I'd really been paying close attention to MxPx.
Did you buy Panic? What was the last?
No. I mean, Panic I was vaguely aware of. I think I said I had it on my computer and I like listened through once and wasn't really ready to receive it. But so there was a lot hinging on what this new MxPx was going to sound like, considering we were just starting this big project. And I think we were both pretty like, not just relieved, but kind of blown away at the video, at the song, at kind of the style of what they were doing. So yeah, we'll
man.
get into that.
Tears were falling out of my face, bro.
Straight out of there.
Straight out of my face.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, and then also in the Brian episode. But yeah, we did share our immediate thoughts right after the record came out.
Yep.
And
within the first 24 hours.
Yeah, we did, because that's what good podcasters do. And I feel like pretty comfortable with most of the stuff I said there, I think. But I will say that it's only improved with time for me.
Yes.
Some of the stuff that I wasn't as on board with, I've gotten on board with. Some of the stuff has switched around for me since then. But it feels very much like these songs are part of the MxPx pantheon now. Like they don't fit in there strangely. They make a lot of sense.
And there are some of the songs that like live, I am very excited to see. Like some of the songs that some of my top 3 songs are not the songs that I'm most excited about seeing live.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's some songs that I'm just like, I really want to see Yuri do this drum part.
Just going to town.
And so yeah, I mean, I had a hard time with my top 3. I mean, I pretty easily chose my top 3. However, and one of the reasons I was saying like I haven't had as hard of a time since like maybe Life in General or is because I felt like there was an argument that could be made for a lot of the songs about why I feel like it's worthy of a top 3.
Sure.
But there were numerous factors that were in play for me for my top 3 aside from just the song.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the 3 that I named as my favorite when we did our immediate reaction are still my top 3.
I don't even remember.
We didn't even do like an official top 3, but I just said like, well, I don't want to give it away, but I said that I knew my top 3 pretty easily. And that hasn't changed, but the order has changed a little bit for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I said at the time that it was at least tied with Panic for my favorite music they'd put out in 20 years.
It's interesting because that almost aligns pretty much with my top 10, dog.
I don't want to give it away.
I don't want to blow my load right here at the top.
Hold it in. But I do want to say, I mean, whatever. I'll give a quick...
It's NoFap November, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing, I guess. The thing that I kind of came to the conclusion to without giving away what I'm going to say later is basically like, overall, this might be tighter as a complete package, the self-titled record, but the highs of Panic are still higher for me. So I'll just say that. But for a band 26 years into their career,
right,
to put out a record that makes my way into the top handful of records is pretty good. So well done, dudes.
Yes. Yeah, it's and this is something that I said, and I'll probably repeat this once we do our album ranking. In the 26 years as a band, of all of the music that they've put out, to have just a couple records that I'm not
Pretty
really
good.
sold on.
Yeah. And
that
even
is-
those, like, I like a decent amount of.
even though, like, here's the thing, like, when we do the top 10, something has to be 8.
Right.
That doesn't mean I don't like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
typically what it means for me is I'm going to throw on an MxPx record, and this is the likelihood of me throwing on the record.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I think one of the albums is bad or I don't like it. Just, you know, I prefer certain songs more. But
Sure.
so let's talk the production of this bad boy.
We produced it with our money.
We did. John, you produced a kick-ass record.
I produced that Hornsey P for sure.
Yeah, you did. So, Casey Bates, bro.
Casey Batesy?
Casey Batesy.
That's what I call him.
Good old. He's the. I'm not gonna do it.
Casey,
Casey.
we salute you, sir.
So,
Your first name and last name sound alike.
Casey Batesy. So Casey, I wasn't familiar with him by name, but he has worked with a lot more. Like, he hasn't done like a lot of punk bands. He's like, for a majority of the career he's worked with Portugal the Man.
Oh, interesting.
That's like one of his like very consistent bands that he's worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Pierce the Veil, Chiodos, Fall of Troy, and then he also worked on the cover too.
Wow. I knew I recognized his name.
Yeah, I think it just didn't connect until I was like was researching this. I was like, oh, that's right. But I think in terms of production quality, this might be one of the best sounding MxPx records
I think that's true.
since
Ever.
I mean, it could be one of the best sounding records that they've ever done. And this is not, you know, of course, John and I are proper Moonheads.
Sure.
And we
It's a Bob Moon shout out for anybody who might not
yeah.
immediately understand.
Yes, so Bob Moon, who did some early stuff. Specifically, he did Teenage
Greatest album of all
Politics,
time.
with the greatest punk album ever recorded.
Just album. Except for Adrenalize.
Yep. Okay.
Sorry.
Who produced Adrenalize?
Mike Epstein.
Mike Epstein.
No, I have no idea.
We need to fact check that shit. And be like, what if, I don't know, who is Mike Epstein?
He sounds like a dude.
I mean,
Classic Epstein joint.
100% there's a dude named Mike Epstein somewhere. But so Casey Bates recorded, engineered, mixed it, and Jake Long and Trey Milburn also were assisting on this. They did it at Monkey Trench in Bremerton, and I think it's just so consistent.
Yeah.
Everything sounds amazing, and I'm just gonna. Do you want some more candy?
Of course.
I mean, here.
Thanks, Dan.
I was wanting to use the Googer. So
Mike Epstein is a famous baseball player, by the way. I think that information was in my head somewhere.
okay, nice. Who did he play for?
Played for a bunch of teams, but his nickname was Super Jew, so that's a thing.
Totally. That's. I hope that was given by, somebody lovingly, and not like some sort of derogatory.
Right. I'm gonna eat some nerds.
Yeah, you are. So, Steve Kravac.
Kravac back.
Yeah, we got to get Kravac back. Speaking of Canada,
I think he's from the Scatch.
no, he's from the BC. Shout out to Canada this episode.
Yeah.
Love you guys. You
Want to
are.
move to you.
Yeah, we want to be inside you.
I want your skin.
Give us your skin.
You know, like, I'm not saying like Steve Kravac is a boss, and I'd be interested to see what he has. I haven't really listened to anything that he's done lately, but at Hell's Half Acre or anything like that. But
Man.
I don't know. I just think that this album sounds fucking tight.
Sounds really good.
It's a no frills. It is not.
Those frills out of here.
Get those frills the fuck out of here. This is not a secret weapon.
Speaking of which, do you know who has a brand new record out today?
The
boy.
our boy,
The man, the sprinkle, the legend.
the man, the sprink.
Aaron Sprinkle's new band, which I cannot remember the name of, has an EP out today.
Something beaches.
Luna something?
Lunar. What is it? What does he do?
We'll never know. There's no way
There's
to
no
tell.
there's no way to figure this out. Yeah, Aaron Sprinkle, we want to get him on the pod.
You don't want him to listen to any of our episodes.
We specifically refuse to have. Please don't listen to the Poking at You episode.
No.
Just don't listen to any.
Just don't listen.
Don't listen to anything.
Luna Wave is his
Luna Wave.
band, and that you should listen to.
Yes.
I haven't yet, but I'm sure it's great.
And speaking of bands related to people that we're talking about, Northwind.
Right?
It's Jake Long and Trey Milburn, and some other dudes.
Producers on the record.
I'm not sure the other guys, especially who they are, but I think they just have a new record out, Dark Lakes.
Yep.
Check them out. So
Sounds really good.
yeah,
Some of the things that we said on our first impressions were that the drum sound was great, which remains the case. The drums sound incredible on this record.
Yep.
It's a very guitar-heavy record.
yeah.
Very riffy, which I'm very into.
It's one of the things that I like about the mid 2000s are not strong for my dudes. Like there's some. I mean,
Panic?
Panic is the jam.
It's true.
I was listening to, so preparing for my top 10, I started listening to some of these records, like my top 5 records, just to kind of help sort it out.
Sure.
And I just found myself in my office. I get to my office earlier than anybody else. And so I'm in the office by myself for maybe like, depending on the day, it could be like an hour and a half before anybody else gets there. So I get there and I'm like making my coffee and
Crushing those spreadsheets.
crushing those spreadsheets. Analyzing that data like a boss. and I was listening to Panic, and I'm just like in the kitchen, just like in the goddamn refrigerator.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm just shredding, and I'm like, and I have like one of my earbuds in, have one of them out, and I'm like doing the harmonies and whatever, and I'm just like feeling it.
Nobody walked in and
No,
felt it
no.
with you.
What?
The song.
Oh, yeah, the song.
Yep.
Not the song. But,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just me in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen. Yeah, so there are some solid ass riffs
Yeah.
on this record, that I'm excited about, and I'm finding myself. There are some really great harmonies, and it's such a hooky album, harmony hooky, that that's one of the things that I use as a metric to judge a song. Sometimes it's like, am I? Is it? Is
you
it?
Find that harmony, bro.
Find that harmony. Find that harms, and I'm harming it, man.
You're straight harming it.
Straight harming it. And it's harmcore, and it's
Yeah.
So there are some of the songs on here where I'm like, songs that didn't make my top 3 that I'm still like, fucking a jam, bro.
Yep.
It's a jam, bro.
Totes
a jam.
Totes a jam.
I'm all about that abbrev. Totes a breves.
There's still no Wikipedia entry for this album.
What the-
so
yeah.
Come on, PXPX Nation.
Yeah, where's I've tried to do the wiki entries before, and I've kind of blown it. And it is surprising.
PX Chris, where you at, bro?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could try it. There's some PXer out there who's got the skills to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at our boy Danny Leary.
Yeah, come on, Dan.
He can probably
You can pull it off.
he can pull it off. I work in Excel. I don't do
You excel in Excel.
I don't do anything with whatever you call this program, like,
Sure.
I don't know.
The back end.
Yeah. I'm not the back end at all.
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff is, when I have some people on my team, when we are going over stuff and when they're manipulating, it's like they're Neo from the Matrix. You just see like
Plug in.
just
Coding.
just all the coding and stuff and all that. They're just like, what is happening right now?
That's probably what they think when they see you slinging those spreadsheets.
Slinging those sheets.
Yeah. They always say you're a freak in the sheets.
I am. Yeah, I'm like, how many cells you want me to sort those?
Plug my formula in there.
I guess.
Oh boy. Hey, let's
Yeah.
talk about this record.
Let's talk about the record. Do you have any other?
I don't. I mean.
Okay.
I think,
So hit us up on Instagram, hit Gmail, magpiepod@gmail.com.
Yeah, we're done. No, I think one of the other things we said, and this is the last time I'll refer back to our other episode, is that, the sense of gratitude and of being
Yep.
present is
Yep.
just so pervasive on this record. And
That's
it's nice after hearing some of the stuff recently that we've been listening to where it's just like, this dude is he's in a
Bummerville.
dark place. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny though, because in a way that you called me out for my Rolling Stone article for Def Leppard, you also said you're down with dark MxPx.
It's true. I think I generally mean dark musically, which this generally isn't. But I really like I don't know that there's, it's a mature record. And I think I want mature MxPx right now. I don't know if I don't know if dark MxPx is mature MxPx.
So here's a I will agree with that in terms of when I think of mature, I think Mike talking about things that he's experiencing now.
Freezing balls.
Yeah, well,
I'm just kidding.
talking about his sack.
Right.
No, that Mike is talking about Holly.
Yeah.
He's talking about Rhodes and Sailor. He's not writing songs about like lost loves that because he's written some albums because he's been married for 17 years and he's written some songs about like hard times in love when he's like definitely been married.
Right.
you know, where I'm thinking about, and maybe he wrote those songs, pre-Holly or whatever, but you think about some of the songs and Before Everything and After and Panic and like the Let's Rock stuff, like, let's talk about the real stuff, and I think that's one of the reasons this album resonates with me.
Yeah.
Is it's talking about actual experiences, actual life, actual, it's real. It feels real to me. It doesn't feel like he's projecting or telling a story.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
And I like it.
You can find us on iTunes. Okay.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's hit up that Rolling Strong.
Ooh. Track number 1.
I'm 100% gonna knock this whiskey over. So just let me know.
It's gonna be a great moment
when you need it. It'll be moments like this that I'm gonna miss when I ruin my computer.
Equipment is destroyed.
Oh shit!
Where are we right now?
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Fuzzy bass, fella.
Ooh, fill me with that bass.
That feedback, son. Oh God, what a great song.
Oh wait.
That's not how we're living. We're still low and strong. At least we're living. We're still rolling on.
Yeah. Should we just do the whole song?
Yes.
Yeah. 4 a.m. on a Thursday, I need sleep.
This song kicks so much
so
fucking
good.
ass.
It's my number 2.
It is my number 3.
Okay, so what I said when we first listened was that it was my number 1.
Okay.
And I gotta say, just listening back, I was like, is this my number 1?
I could make an argument for why this I listened to this album twice on the way over here.
Yeah.
Because it's 31 minutes. Takes me just about an hour to get here.
Sure.
And I could make an argument for this song being number 1 easily.
Yeah.
Easily. But so this song it could be argued that this has some of Mike's most solid bass work.
That's pretty good.
It is a badass
I love
bass
that bass
line.
line. Yeah.
Just listen. Just
Let's
listening
listen
to
again.
just the beginning.
Yeah, I think before I said it was like kind of that rancidy, that cascading up and down the neck bass line, which I am always
Maxwell
into.
Murder.
Yep. And yeah, I love the bass line. I love how fast it is. I think when I initially said that this was my number 1, it was because this one's a little dirtier. It's a little grittier, and I think that's what I wanted out of the album. But I came to a place of acceptance about what my actual number 1 is, and we'll get there.
Interesting.
But it's such a great opener. It's
I don't think I would want any other song as an opener.
I know there was some discussion in the MxPx Facebook group about what another opener would be, and I think 2020 hindsight seemed to be a popular
but
suggestion, which would work, but this is better.
No, I don't think it would work. Because
You are wrong.
Because knowing what we know now about it,
Sure.
and I feel like the placement of 2020 hindsight almost in the middle of the album
Yeah.
works as like if we'll get to 2020 hindsight.
Yeah.
But can we also talk about the breakdown?
It's pretty great. It's so fun.
So great.
Pretty great.
Pretty great.
Really, really great.
Really.
The video is also really, really great.
It is.
Our boy Thomas Dutton. He's not actually our boy. I don't know him at all, but
We've
he's
never
my
met
boy
him.
for creating this video and some other videos for this record.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the video for a second. I don't know anything about, and when our interview with Brian Bouchel, we talked specifically about the videos he did. But so Thomas Dutton did he did the first 3 music videos for the first 3 songs. Mm-hmm. And it's such a manic looking video.
Yeah.
Because at the same time that it's sped up and everything looks sort of like jerky and fast, they're singing in real time.
Right.
And I'm sure it's probably some easy sort of camera thing that they did, but
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is, but it looks really cool, and everything just looks super like
jerky and
energetic.
Yeah.
And that is what, for this song that's just 2 minutes and 20 seconds, you feel like from the beginning to the end, you're like spazzing out the whole time. And it's awesome.
Agreed.
Oh shit.
All of it.
Gonna save my time, spend it all on you. I'm gonna take this life and make it here with you. And if you find yourself in the middle of a bad storm, just know that I'll be there to keep your bed warm. How much of your love, how much of your love, all of it. How much of your love do you think I need? All of it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When you feel blood tap rise, hot under your skin, something in your eyes, you always take it on the chin. Well, I got news for you. That's all gonna change.
We could just so easily listen to the entirety of all these songs.
It wouldn't take long.
No.
This is a top 3 contender for me.
What?
Didn't make the cut.
Number 2.
Wow. All right. I'm into it.
Oh my God. I'm walking out right now.
It's a good one. It's in the top 5 for sure.
What?
Drew's disgusted with me. It's a 1.6, dude. It's good.
It's such an earworm.
It is an earworm. So are some other ones.
Yes. I am actually shocked.
I told you what my 3 favorites were on the last time we talked about this record.
Which was like 4 months
It was a while
ago.
It's been a while. But I think this is reflective again of that sort of mature MxPx that I was excited to hear.
Not enough for you to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it sucks. Yeah, I don't know. It's great.
I retract the previous segment where I talked about music being subjective. John is wrong.
This objectively is wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Why is it your number 2? So not only is it earwormy AF, but the story behind the song is
cute AF.
Yeah. Why don't you tell that story?
Well, apparently, I think it's a Sailor story. Mike's daughter Sailor asked or like said to Mike, like, "Daddy, do you know how much I love you?" or something. And he said, "How much?" And she said, "All of it."
Aww.
Which is like, I don't have kids, but if I had kids, like, I would probably just like start punching things over how cute that is.
Yeah, the other night, my kid said he loved me more than the moon and all the stars, and I was like, "That's the cutest thing possible."
That's really precious. So I think that's really cute and adorable. To go from some of like the like super emo, like Mike's emo corner songs to be like, I'm writing a song about how my daughter said she loves me, all of it.
Yeah.
That's just like,
Yeah.
it does something to the heart. And
Totally.
for you to like, for someone to not like this song, they just have to be like a heartless piece of shit. Just saying.
My goodness. Yeah, that was another thing we
Defend
talked about.
yourself.
That was another thing we talked about before, is that he manages to be sincere without being cheesy throughout the record.
He nails the, like in some of the songs on previous records that I think what I like about this is the specificity. It feels like he's that there, like you said, there's the sincerity, there's an earnestness.
Yep.
That he's talking about his kids, he's talking about his wife, and that, you know, a song like Wrecking Hotel Rooms, which is a jam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Sure.
But like the songs on this record are just, to me, feel so much more grounded.
Yeah. And
I feel connected to them, and I feel emotionally connected to them.
Yes.
And so technically this is one of the lyric music videos.
Yeah, it's kind of a half lyric video.
But it's a half lyric video. And I love all of the throwback images on the posters on the cover and the life in general, and all the PX Punk stuff.
Yeah, the band is kind of walking around putting flyers up on telephone poles.
Yeah. And am I mistaken, or is Chris not in this video?
I don't think he's in it.
That felt a little weird.
He knows what he did. Yeah, this was Tommy Dutton production.
Yeah, Tommy D.
Once again.
Tommy D production.
I don't know what his problem is with Chris, but...
yeah, I mean, we did talk. Remember, we talked to him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he's like, oh, that's the fuck Chris is such a piece of shit. Can I feel like I owe Dana this.
Okay.
That when she hears this song, she wishes there was some sort of reciprocation. That, you know, how much of my love do you think I need? All of it. So Mike is...
How much do I give you?
How much of my love? How much of my love
do I give to you?
Yeah, it's like some sort...
Something like that. Sure.
Do you think I'll give all of it?
Sure.
Or something. Dana's like... Dana was saying she wanted the other part to be like, I'm going to reciprocate the love back.
Sure.
So I am going to take your love, all of it,
Yeah.
and I'm going to take all that love, and I'm going to... But I was saying to her that throughout this album, Mike is like, I'm going to...
break his neck.
He's going to bleed. He's going to do everything.
Listen, maybe his love language is acts of service.
I think that's very clearly what it is. So I just felt like I wanted to call that out.
That's interesting.
That as a non-MxPx fan,
Yeah.
I'm not that Dana's dislikes, but like she's vicariously has heard all of it. She's literally heard all of it.
Yeah.
But I think she was that, as somebody who's just like a passive listener, like that was something that she noticed. It was like, oh, maybe, well, how is he going to return the love? But I think if you listen to the remainder of the album and kind of read all the lyrics, you kind of like get the sense that, as you said, the service, the working his ass off for his family is how he does it.
But I'll still call him out next time we see him for it.
Hey, so Mike, specifically, fuck you. And no, Mike is our dog, our bro.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, John, just quick question for scheduling purposes. Do you know what today is?
I think it's Friday tonight?
I think so.
Ooh.
Twirling sticks right here.
Stay alive. How did my head not separate my body from my mind? How did the planets get aligned? How is it every single time? I'm in the kitchen, you're in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator. I've always loved that line. I say it every time, like tonight. It's Friday tonight, tonight, tonight. It hits me to fight. It's Friday tonight, tonight, tonight. It's Friday tonight. Friday tonight. Friday tonight, tonight, tonight. Friday tonight, tonight, tonight. It's Friday tonight. How old would you be if you forgot your birthday?
How old would you be, John?
I do routinely forget how old I am now, actually. 36, 35, somewhere in there.
Mid-30s.
I know what this song's number is for me. Number 3.
It's not my top 3.
What? How the fuck can that be possible? It's so catchy. And
It is.
That chorus is undeniable.
It is. It's so much. It's undeniable. It's
so much sketchier than you think it is.
It's so much. It's so much non-Christian than you think it is. So much parental advisory than you think it is.
No, but just it's got that driving punk beat. It's just like you can't escape it. And I feel like
It wants your skin.
It wants your skin. No, I remember first hearing it and being like, that's a great song.
It is a great song.
But I think it just kind of like, it's just one that you remember so much. We've talked a lot about how kids love this song.
Yeah, they do.
Despite the naughty words. It's just such a... refrigerator is not a cool term to use.
It's so not cool, so not PC, although millennials say refrigerators.
But it's just, I feel like this is an iconic song pretty instantly. Like,
instantly.
You talked about songs that you want to hear live. Like, how fun would this one be?
No, this is...
Pump your fist to at the chorus.
This is when I referenced songs that are not in my top 3.
Yeah.
That I'm most excited to hear live.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
When he just puts the mics out into the crowd and we're just like,
this is the song that everybody is like, this is unequivocally from now until the end of their career is a guaranteed live show song.
If they ever play any live shows.
If they fucking come to Chicago.
Skin.
Like I said, I can make an argument for why this would be in my top 3.
Yeah.
It is hooky, it's fun, and it's a chorus that you can sing along to.
Yeah.
It's
This is one of the
crowd
more simpler
participation.
songs on the record.
It is.
It's Friday tonight. That much is clear.
Yeah. And it's also the song that I'm sure the band gets tweeted at.
It's Friday night.
Hey, Mike, fucking Friday night, bro. Yeah, but also they have the arcade scene,
In the video.
which is in
Super
the
fun.
video, which is pretty fun.
Tommy Dutton holding it down.
Tommy D, this is his I know words.
They're also writing in the air Friday tonight. Which
Yeah,
is really cool.
yeah. The PX Punk is kind of like on the screen, kind of moving around. So I remember when this came out, I asked the band, considering they're not in an arcade, what their favorite video games are. And I'm pretty sure that both Tom and Mike responded that Legend of Zelda were their favorites.
Sure.
And I said, that is correct. That is right. That is your favorite game.
Was that ever an arcade game, though? That was more
No,
of a console
no,
game.
it wasn't.
You were just broadening it to video
I was just
games
broadening,
generally.
considering they were in an arcade, they're playing video games. What are their favorite video games?
Sure.
And I think it was Tom Chichilla who was like talking about how badass he was at that
That sounds familiar.
at that game, and how he's like beat it in the hardest versions or whatever. But I don't know. We might need to get our boy Alex Retro to be like get a Tom Chichilla and Alex Retro like one-on-one
Video game spectacular.
Like, what's the what was the name of that? The Wizard
Oh yeah.
with
Fred Savage.
and
Jenny
like
Lewis.
with Mario Brothers 3 where they had that like competition.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Wizard.
Yep. I think I need to crack open the last one of these bad boys before we
John,
hear
wait.
this next
Okay,
song.
wait. Hold on. Everybody shut the
Everybody
fuck
just
up.
Quiet down.
Quiet down. Oh yeah. Just
Sprayed the mic a little, but
just blew your load all over the table.
it was worth it.
It was worth it.
All right.
That was the crack ove. I'm drunk.
These beers have been a joy
Yep.
to enjoy.
Dink it.
Cheers. The next song is an important one.
Yes. Let me just check my notes and nope.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Moving on.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4. That bass sounds so good.
Really good. It's just mixed super well. It's
About the time that I turned 14, I got a job doing landscaping. Those days were long and my own boss was me.
And his own boss was me as well.
About the time that I turned 16, I got a car, no place to be. I'd fill up the tank and drive out to the sea. The Rockies ain't too far from here if we drive all night. The cold air will do you well in the mountain morning light. So let's ride on through the rain. Come on and take me anywhere that you wanna be. So let's ride.
God, that bass
So great.
sounds so good.
It sounds so good that it's my number one.
It is my number one as
I
well.
thought so.
So we both had Let's Ride and Rolling Strong, right?
We're 4 songs in, and both of us have gone through our top 3.
Well, here's the thing. Outside of Let It Happen, which I think we had 4 out of 5,
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done... Have we ever done more than 2 out of 3?
I don't think so.
I've always hoped. I thought
get
this
all
was
3.
the episode that we would get all 3.
I Friday Tonight edges out all of it, and there's another top 3 contender for me coming up.
I have plenty of top 3 contends on this rec.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about this music video.
Yeah.
I really can't. The first time we saw it, we talk about it kind of at length with Brian Bouchelt,
Our actual boy.
our actual boy. He is our son.
We're very proud of him.
He's
a brave boy.
a big boy. He's a very good boy. When we first saw this, we were we were interviewing Jason Hockney Zymet, and I think we saw it like the day before, and like it was sort of like a transformational. It was another one of those moments that we kind of get into with Brian in the interview, that just like this sort of, like, I don't know, I felt like I got in a time machine,
Yeah.
and relived a lot of my childhood while watching that music video, and when I hear the song, I can't separate the song and the music video.
Totally.
So it's the best.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I made the bold claim when we were talking to Brian that it's the greatest MxPx music video ever, which I stand by. Like,
I think one can make an argument for that.
the song is epic. The video is
Epic
epic.
AF. Yep.
And I think ultimately why I decided I did like this more than Rolling Strong was that this just encapsulates this era so well. Like,
Yep.
it's such a perfect kind of narrowing down of what this whole record is about. It's got that mature sound. It's nostalgic, but it doesn't feel like it's looking back. It feels present. It's just more of a Let's Ride record than probably any of the other songs, I would say. And
Yeah.
it's one of their greatest songs ever, I think.
I would agree with that. And in watching the music video, Brian talks about the sort of the narrative element of the music video and the song, and I love how the back patch, the MxPx patch on the jacket, ends up as the last
Yeah.
sort of image of the music video, that it's just like that through line through the whole music video. And I think a lot of MxPx fans can relate to that some of the stuff that they've had from the band from very early on is stuff that they still have, and
Yeah.
for whatever reason, whether it's insignificant or whether it's a record or a patch or a shirt or whatever, a CD, it just feels like it's something that they've carried through, and it's still part of part of their family,
Yeah.
and you have that lived experience, John. Your son now has
It's true.
a Poking at Your Punk shirt.
Yep. It hit me on on an emotional level. And again, we just didn't know what to expect. Like, we had no idea. And the fact that it was like, had the kind of emotional resonance that it did in the ending, and that it kind of tracked our lives as punk fans and stuff, and MxPx fans specifically, was like, wow, just kind of was knocked out by it.
Yeah.
You, in fact, visited the coffee shop as seen in the video.
Yes, I
Daggerbound
did.
Coffee, which you'll get into in the next
Yeah,
ep a little bit.
you'll hear that in the Brian Bouchelt interview next week.
Little tease.
Little tease.
Get those clicks, son.
Yeah, gotta tease those nips.
Sure.
I guess. Give me your skin and your nips.
Uptown streets.
Uptown nips.
Uptown nips.
On a Saturday night in the year of the summer of sound, I was truly scared for the first 9 years I ran. It was a mighty fine day in the USA, I read. Yeah, word on the back of my hand so I wouldn't forget those uptown streets. We all drive down, but they may be worn out, be broken, and yet somehow they've carried so many of us to safety. Those uptown streets, we walk those now.
This is top 3 contender so hard.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, this could have it could have edged out all of it, but or I don't know. It's such a great song. The video kicks ass, and
Brian Buchelt once again.
Brian Buchelt, our boy Brian B, crushing it. And I don't want to give so much away of our interview with him, but like,
It's a long one.
he's a beast. Yeah, it's a long. It's I finished editing it today.
Okay.
It's our 3rd longest ep.
Okay. Okay.
And
So 6 hours.
So when I say it's our 3rd longest ep, I mean that it's let's see, what is it? So our longest step is 236.
Sure.
And the one with Brian is 233. So
Cutting it close.
it's cutting it. It really cuts it close.
No, we got a lot more songs to go for this app.
Yeah, we do.
See how we do.
We'll see what's happening. Oh shit. So I love a straight ahead punk rock video, band playing, no frills, just the dudes.
Yeah.
I love how it starts out, just entering the space, picking up the instruments, and then kicking you in the face with the punk rock.
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
swinging his bass around. You know,
made a good gif of that.
I made a gif.
We talked before about this as kind of a classic rock sound. We mentioned Petty or even like Bruce. Kind of feels like
It's very Americana.
yeah, which I'm into. It's not quite Tumbledown territory, but not quite usual MxPx
But
territory.
it's not tumble down.
Right. Yeah, it sounds good. I am into it.
There's an energy that in the video that I love. Something else that I love throughout a lot of these videos. Mike is the king of the punk jumps.
Yeah.
He's got at the very least 2 punk jumps in this video alone. So I'm into that, and I'm glad that I have the vinyl lyric sheet. I mean, I have the CD,
Sure.
but this is a little easier to read
Sure.
some of the lyrics. This is one of the songs that has a little bit some of those misheard lyrics.
Ah.
So particularly in the second chorus.
I was buying 1 cent Denny's at the corner store, riding BMX like a paper delivery boy.
So buying 1 cent candies at the corner store.
I said it. I was thinking Denny's or something.
Yeah, it sounds like Denny's, buying 1-cent candies at the corner store, riding BMX like a paper delivery boy. So the buying the 1-cent candies is a lyric that I think some people had a hard time with.
Yeah.
But for me, I knew this wasn't the lyric, but to me it sounded like riding BMX like a big bird delivery boy. Just like
Yeah, that's classic industry in the 80s.
just
Big Bird was so popular back then that just needed
he was
deliveries all
back
the
in
time.
the day. He was riding BMX like a big bird delivery boy.
I think my question lyrically is more like, what is the first verse even about? So the Summer of Sam was like 77, right?
76 when he was born.
Okay, so he was
David
truly
David
scared.
Berkowitz.
Okay, you've already gone deep here.
Yep.
But like, okay, so on a Saturday night near Summer Sam, maybe that's when he was born. But then he's like,
Yes.
I was truly scared for the first 9 years I ran. So he's just saying like, until he was 9, he was scared.
No, I think what he's talking about is the first so he had they released an album called 10 Years in Running,
right?
and as I said on the Let's Rock ep, that the theme of running is very much a part of Mike's writing. Running is a theme throughout a lot of his songwriting. And so when he talks about the first 9 years he ran, my understanding is the first 9 years of him in MxPx.
Fascinating.
So 92 to 2001, I think those from Poking at Ya to
Plants and everything in between.
yes,
Sorry.
no, from Poking at Ya to
Ever passing
Every
moments.
Passing Moment. I think
Every
those
passing moment.
every passing moment, every passing moment. So I think that's the first 9 years that he's talking about.
And then he ran into a bad album.
He ran headlong into before.
Sorry. I don't mean to keep making fun of you, but
John, I've had a lot of whiskey.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. What did he write on the back of his hand so he wouldn't forget?
He said that it was a
My
mighty
band is
fine day in the
called
USA,
MxPx.
but I wrote it on the back of my hand so I wouldn't forget. I'm wondering if that's one of the tattoos.
Oh, I wonder what's on there. Let's Rock? You can't forget that.
It's y'all
His
blow.
birthday? Oh, y'all blow. Can't forget that.
Can't forget how much we blow.
I just feel like there's a lot going on. He was born, he's running, he wrote it on the back of his hand.
Let's see. Here's a pic.
This is a deep dive here.
I'm doing a deep dive. I'm finding pics of Mike Herrera. Oh, this is when he did 9 to 5 Guy. Shout out to 9 to 5 Guy. When Mike did, he did like some shots of tequila. And
What is 9 to 5 Guy?
what's that?
What is 9 to 5 Guy?
It's a guy in Texas who
He works
he-
9 to 5.
he does he did something like 3 shots, and like so he like asks 3 questions, and each question there's a shot of tequila.
Interesting.
So it's it's a good show. So check him out. But I'm wondering if the writing it on the back of his hand is a reference to one of his tattoos. I don't know.
Maybe. I believe he's got a little ship back there.
Maybe he's got lots of stuff
He has
going
a lot
on.
of tattoos.
He's got the tats. He doesn't have Let's Rock
no,
on
not
his.
yet.
Not yet. God damn it. Mike is a good-looking dude.
This is the Mike is Handsome segment of the pod.
This is yeah. Anyway, should we stop talking about Mike and his face?
I think we got to hop in the van and solve this mystery.
I think we should.
If you know what is written on the back of his hand in relation to his birth or running or Summer Sam, let us know.
Yeah. Do you know who would know? Probably Mike. The next song.
Not familiar with him.
The next song, 2020 Hindsight. Just want to say that because it starts. This is one of those songs that doesn't waste time. It just starts.
I'm panicking, baby. Don't let them take me. Don't let them take me from everything I've known. That move would kill me, or what's left of me. Feels like I've been cut off from my home. Where will I go if I end up all alone? How will I know when the time has come to go? It's now or never, so let's go. Now or never, so let's go. So here's my pep talk. You got this on lock. Get out there and show us how hard you
This is a definite top 3 contender for me.
Yeah. So this is a song that people said could have been the opener.
Right.
And it's only since MxPx memes,
Danny.
our boy Danny Leary from MxPx memes, he'd been doing this various meme things with since
Propositions,
the
like-
different propositions coming up because
Say no to Prop 5. And stuff.
yeah, like because of it's the election season. He did these memes for like Prop 5, say no. And he did this one that said, tell your state Congress it's time for 2020 hindsight. And then I was like, oh, he did a bunch of these. It's really funny. And Mike said in the comments, it's about ice.
Boom. Dropping a bomb.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And when I saw that comment, I immediately listened to the song again. I'm panicking, baby. Don't let them take me. Don't let them take me from everyone I've known, everything I've known. That move would kill me or what's left of me. Feels like I've been cut off from my home. Where will I go if I end up all alone? How will I know when the time has come to go? And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And that hit me in a completely different way. So when people talked about how this could be the first song, after I recognized and realized that this is what the song was about,
Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
it's like you can't have a song start off with like
Sure.
a song about ice. And I think having for the first half of the album being very much about gratitude and family and nostalgia, and then going into like having songs about
Pep talks.
pep talks and some more difficult stuff. He talks about Star Wars, the celebrity or
Reality
reality Star Wars, talking about Trump and everything. But yeah, I was like, that kind of fucked me up for a second. I was like, wow, what is he trying to say here? Because it feels like he's recognizing that ICE is taking people away from their families. But then I don't understand what the second verse is about.
Gets a little fuzzier there.
Little murky.
Yeah.
So here's my pep talk. You've got this on lock. Now get out there and show us how hard you can fight. If I'm being truthful, I'm not that useful, except I got that 20/20 hindsight. So, two things. If this is about having the disenfranchised and people who are being people who might be thrown out of the country, if you're saying, yeah, go out and fight on behalf of your, I don't think I can get down with that.
Right.
But if it's saying to the people who maybe voted for Trump,
right,
they've got 20/20 hindsight that shit, they got duped and they got fucked over, and well, now I know. I got 20/20 hindsight that they were lied to, and I don't know. What do you take the second verse to mean?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think, yeah, the "you got this on lock" part is a little confusing.
It makes it murky for me.
Yeah, I agree though that there's something to the idea that something that maybe seemed like a good policy on a sort of knee-jerk surface level, when you look back with 20/20 hindsight, can realize maybe in the grand scheme of things that was not such a great idea. So I'm assuming that's sort of along those lines, but anyway, interesting to hear that that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
And now there are more songs.
And we have a puppy.
Hello, Harriet.
Hi, Harriet.
We should say, yes, it's about ICE. I said this before, but I love the bridge where there's the ascending riff, the what do you think, Harriet? Do you like the part where it goes? She's saying she likes the part where it goes.
John, I love your dog.
Harriet, could you tell us about the video for this? She's saying it was a lyric video. What else, Harry? Oh, right. But there was an animated PX Punk singing. And he was riding his Vespa around. Yes. Oh, good point. And it was directed by Jake Long, who is a longtime engineering producer of the band.
So I want to... Harriet
Thoughts?
nailed it. So here's what I want to say about the music video. After learning about what it was actually about, the video seemed extremely underwhelming.
I don't know if he explained to anyone that was what it was about.
No. And I think it probably could have been a pretty powerful narrative video.
Sure.
If he was like, actually, this is about ICE. And when I think about, oh shit,
This guy's off the rails,
I'm
people.
off the rails.
Taking this flask from you.
Oh, what are you gonna do about it?
Pour it on my dog.
So, what song was it? Was it Panic? It was the song that no, it was Secret Weapon. It was Contention that they used
Right.
B-roll old school
War footage.
This
This is old school. I kept yelling that when we watched the video.
This is old school, man. It's old school. No, but I'm thinking they used all that old war footage for contention, that there could have been a video of, I don't know, it just, to me, it felt like there could have been something more than the happy PX Punk singing about ice.
Maybe Mike is full of shit. Maybe it's not about ice.
I don't know. Why would he just so casually say that? Seems like, if that'd be like a really
Yeah,
shitty
that'd be weird.
thing to say.
You missed that angle.
Yeah, that's what
That
he
was another
said.
comment he
That's what he said. He said, you missed
That's
that.
why at first I was kind of like, is this like a dark joke? But I don't think it is. It makes sense. At least the first verse makes sense. I don't know, Mike, leave us a voicemail. Let us know what's tattooed on your
872-762-4763.
That's correct. And also let us know why the video wasn't about ice.
Yep.
There's a half of a record left for us to talk about.
Yep. So let's move on to the way we do.
I break my neck to give my family all they need. If giving blood was destiny, then what'll bleed? If the earth opens up and somehow swallows me, let me live on through the songs and stories. Like that time when face to face destroyed our band of freezing bulls. Cross Canada with simple plan. Stealing food from bad religion's dressing room. Some days that old bus felt like a tomb. This is the way we do life, the way we always wanted to. It's true, it's true. This is the way we do. This is the way we make this moment last past midnight like teenagers out past curfew.
Still waiting on that Way We Do tour announcement.
Oh, man.
MxPx, Face to Face, Simple Plan, and Bad Religion.
Oh, man. I'd be hard for like a month.
You have it on lock.
I'd have it on cock.
This is a new
Sorry.
new high for us.
A new low.
Some shades of Darkest Places in that opening, perhaps. A muted strum.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not one of my favorites, probably.
So I think the song is fun. It's another reminiscing kind of song.
Yeah.
So as far as the video goes, Brian and Jake, this is a Brian and Jake Gravbrot
collab.
So it's another band rocking out vid.
Mm-hmm. I believe Brian said they didn't know the song at all as they were filming it, right? Or was that a different one?
No. He said that they had already filmed Let's Ride, Uptown Streets, and did they Moments Like This.
But didn't he say he hadn't even heard this song?
No.
Oh.
That was
We'll find out in the next episode.
well, there was or maybe it was this one that he said that like they just went upstairs
Right.
to the attic or the second stairs and he's like you have this
like
many
2
takes
hours or whatever, yeah.
It
was like a lot less than that.
It was the last video of
Yeah,
the day,
yeah.
and he had filmed. This would be the 4th music video of the day,
So insane.
which is so insane. And he was like, "You have 6 takes. Do this.
Right.
That's
kind of
all
a
you got."
Straight performance.
And yeah, so
Yeah, it's fun.
it's the music video is fine. I am not going to hold anybody anybody's feet to the fire about like not having a full concept for literally every music video, since they have a music video for every song of the album.
Yep.
Which is amazing. But I think some of the lyric videos are fine, whatever. I'll take a full band music video over a lyric video.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think this video had sort of like a missed opportunity in terms of a narrative with the actual bands they're talking about.
It's pretty impressed that they have this many videos, period, though. Regardless.
I fucking just said that. You just said
to make this point for the first time tonight. I think it's just pretty impressive.
You're right, John. That's an amazing point. I wish I'd thought of it. Can we get a round of applause for John?
Thank you.
You're amazing. Oh shit. That guitar line.
It's pretty great. Makes me want to have some life goals.
I love that part right there.
It's pretty great.
With the guitar part there is so sweet.
If you're talking about great harmonies, I mean, that chorus really sells it.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, what I said when we first talked about this record was that I felt the first half was a lot stronger. I still feel that way. Side B doesn't do quite as much for me, but I do really love the chorus here. And then later, the bridge where it's kind of slowed down, and there's those reverb vocals. Yeah. Yeah, I'm into this.
So I wanted to talk about those lines right there, actually. Mm-hmm. The literal bridge. A bridge to nowhere still takes you somewhere, but you never know until you get there.
Sarah Palin reference, I assume.
Yeah. Mike is a huge Sarah Palin fan. There's a concept known as a rainbow bridge for
Mario
animals.
Kart? Oh.
Rainbow Road.
Yeah. That's the one.
So
she walked the dirt road down by the Rainbow Bridge.
Exactly.
Sorry, what are you actually saying?
The bridge to nowhere. So for pets, there's something known as the Rainbow Bridge that is the bridge that takes you into the next life. So it's this bridge that takes you from this life into the next one, and so I think since this song is about death, and it says you're walking around the next day, you're nowhere to be found because you're buried 6 feet under. So I think the bridge to nowhere, he's saying, this bridge, it's taking you to the next life. And even if you think you're dead, you're still going to be somewhere, but where that is, who knows?
It's heavy, man. Final slow dance.
It's another mortality song.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just my interpretation.
I think that sounds right to me. Another lyric video here.
It is another lyric video.
Jake Langley, director. Yeah, I don't know. I like it okay.
Yep. Samesies.
Pipe dreams.
Building a skyline and wondering where my supplies went. The blueprints keep changing, the code keeps on breaking, that must be the intent. You come with pockets and take what you need, all you'll find. Just leave me a shred of humanity, leaving my mind. Hold on to those pipe dreams. If I'm wrong, the worst is already happening. Hold on. No reason we can't have pipe dreams. Faced with a nation divided, engaged in reality Star Wars. So no indication that we didn't crawl out like rats from the sewers.
Harsh Mike. We're all just rats crawling out of those sewers.
Well, I mean, we're pretty much in a time where we're kind of at our worst.
Yeah, we are sewer rats. I'd say pretty good overall.
I
don't
like
know.
the song.
Yeah, it's not a top 3 contender, but I like it. This is another Jake Langley lyric video.
Yeah, the Life Goals and Pipe Dreams videos are super Sims.
Of a piece. Super
Yep.
Sims.
Soup Sims.
It's all just Sims video game characters. That would have been cool, actually.
So, what do you think about a pipe dream is something that is seen as unreasonable?
Right.
But then the bridge is infrastructure and pipelines now lay broken supply lines. My vision is too clear. All this hate must be fear. What do you take that to mean?
I mean, I sort of imagine that the song is basically like, it's kind of a panic theme where it's like things are real bad, but that doesn't mean that we won't be able to get out of this eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mike, leave us a voicemail.
All this hate must be fear. I mean, there is a lot of fear mongering happening at the moment.
Yeah, it's clearly a commentary on what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously he wrote this. I don't know, like at least more than 6 months ago, but with the midterms coming up, it is the ramped up
Yeah.
fear mongering is
pretty bad.
it's rough. And something we didn't talk about in the 2020 hindsight in relation to immigration with this whole caravan fear-mongering nonsense. With this imminent caravan of people, which is months away, mind you. This is not an imminent thing. But a lot of these people are coming from situations where there is a fear of retaliation and their lives are in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And couple that with this whole birthright nonsense, which is protected within the Constitution,
Right.
the 14th Amendment. And for Republicans who are so concerned with preserving the Constitution to so readily get on board with Trump to be like, fuck the Constitution, I'll just overturn this with an executive order.
Right.
When during Obama's administration, they're like, how dare Obama use executive orders?
Right.
And now Trump's like, oh, I can just do whatever I want. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says.
Yeah.
When, like 7 years ago, Ted Cruz was like saying about the whole birthright thing. It's in the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's licking Trump's boots.
Right. One of our listeners.
Yeah, Ted Cruz, 872-762-4763, 872-7MAG-POD. Hit us up, Ted Cruz. Beto, I know you're listening. You're a PX fan.
Yeah, Beto, if you don't win, please come on the pod.
Come on the pod.
We'll have some time.
We expect you to win.
Yes. You know what I would... Oh, do you have more thoughts about the song?
No, I mean, I'm curious your thoughts on what I just said.
I agree. I feel like every time we get into what's happening, I'm just like, I don't know what to say other than I agree and everything. It's awful.
Well, I don't want to be the one who's always the buzzkill.
No, man. I mean, the world is a buzzkill.
Because, like, sometimes I feel like I'm like the lib. Like, I mean, we're both...
I think if we just let supply-side economics sort this whole thing out, we'll be fine.
Trickle down.
If we have a flat tax, I think a lot of this stuff will sort itself out.
Trickle down my balls.
That's what I always say.
I think that was the Reaganomics. That's what he's like. He's like, well, if you just let it trickle down my balls.
That's what he meant originally.
Yeah.
And got lost in translation over time. You might say that this administration is a disaster. It's the best I can do.
Nailed it.
Sitting in my car, drinking from a flask, laying future plans, worked up the nerve to ask. Never can prepare you for your way we all feel. When you're so in love, it just doesn't seem real. I'm such a disaster for you. No one else can look faster for you. I'm such a disaster for you. I can't stand up straight. I'm falling over and over. Stuck in the middle of a hurricane, coming at you fast, the days have gone insane. When I need peace, I'm finding back at home.
There you go. There are no bad songs on this record.
No.
But this is probably my least favorite. What do you think? It feels a little out of place with the rest of the record to me.
So it's probably not. It's not my favorite. But like you said, in the way that like life in general or like even Panic albums that are so strong that there's going to be a song on it that's not my favorite.
Sure.
I don't know. Disaster's probably, if we had to put the 11 songs in order, it's probably not in my top 11.
Yeah, below even the existing limit. No, I it's fine. I don't dislike it. It just doesn't do as much for me as the other ones.
Yeah.
This is another lyric video with some black and white footage of them playing and recording. Jake Gravbrat holding that down. I assume that's kind of from the same session as...
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chris is, like, sitting in this video.
He's like, I've had enough.
He's like, I'm
this is our
over
fifth
this.
video of the day. Brian has already flown his little plane back home.
He jumped in the chipmunk, and he's like, I'm out of here.
See you later, assholes.
You got, like, 45 music videos out of me in, like, 3 minutes. Yeah.
The penultimate track. We got one moments like this.
These are what times when so many blue skies turn gray. At the end of each night we get ready for work the next day. Don't you ever lose heart, keep the fire burning or blaze. And don't call me crazy, it's just the way I was raised. It's moments like this that I'm gonna miss when I'm dead and gone and I can't kiss my kids. Will they look up to the sky and think about me? These are the ways I've been spending my days, thinking weird thoughts and the things that amaze me about life and the way I've been able to live it so free. It's moments like this that are priceless to me.
Yeah.
Priceless to me. Yeah. I heard that screen door.
Perfect timing.
Nailed it.
Andrew just stepped out to go to the bathroom and came back in right in time.
Yep. Speaking of stepping out to go to the bathroom, hey, buddy, how you doing? Moments like this, another Brian Bouchelt classic.
Yeah, kind of a half performance, half old footage vid.
Yep.
Including his family at Disney World, as he talks about, and his son being born.
Davison,
who was under the weather when we recorded. Hope he's feeling better.
Yep.
I think this is a great closing song. Great
Perfect
opener, great closer. This is a great sing-along.
Yep.
Which you want out of a closer. It doesn't hit the heights of side A for me, but I like it as a culminating moment. And like you said, the video, Brian knows how to tug on those heartstrings.
He does. He compiled those moments, if you will. And I think he really crafted a video that felt meaningful for the fans as well as the people who were featured in the video. I think, as you said, life goals, pipe.
Little dog snorts in the
Harriet
background.
loves life goals.
Yeah. Life goals.
Harriet, come on. Hi. Come here.
What were you saying about life goals?
Hey. Life goals, pipe dreams, disaster.
Yeah.
They're not my favorite songs on the record, but that doesn't mean they are. I don't like them.
Yeah.
They are.
Really?
Harriet is
dogs wandering around.
Harriet's snorting like a bouse. I still think this is a super solid, extremely consistent record.
Totally.
And I think it's a what's the word I'm looking for?
Good.
It's an accomplishment.
Accomplishment. There you go.
It's
I support that.
Yeah, I think when compared to, I love Plans. Plans is a great album.
I like it too.
Secret Weapon not so much. But I think from some of the efforts in recent years, I think this is a super highlight.
Agreed. Where does it fall within our album rankings? You'll find out after this short break because I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, hit it. John, have we ever done a second comeback?
I don't think so, but we've also never done a 3-hour episode, which we are about to do. People who wanted it got their wish.
Yeah, people who've asked for it, you're welcome. John, we are about to rank our top 10.
This is bold territory.
It is bold territory. And, like, I'm almost ready to make an audible for my 4 and 5.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I have a feeling our 4 and 5 are the same. Let's get into it. This can be a flexible thing. It's not set in stone forever. You can revisit as needed.
Yeah. All right.
Should we start
number
1 or number 10?
10.
Sorry.
What the fuck? All right.
And we'll trade off back and forth?
Yeah, trade off back and forth. What's your number 10?
I bet you can guess. Secret Weapon.
Okay, Secret Weapon. Mine is Before Everything and After.
I thought that would be the case.
Yep.
My number 9.
Your number 9?
Before Everything and After.
Secret Weapon.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yep.
My number 8. This is, I think, where we may part ways.
Yep.
Ever Passing Moment.
Wow. That is a controversy.
Is it?
I think so.
Is yours poking at you?
Mine is poking at you.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. This is where it
becomes subjective.
It's becomes subjective, and when we look at poking at you, I think we can all agree that from beginning to end, poking at you is not the most solid album. It has 21 songs.
It's got a lot of songs.
It's a lot of songs, and 18, like, No Room, JJ's song, One Window, Dead End are songs that I would feel fine with cutting from the record. Walking By, Twisted Words, solid songs.
Yeah.
Another song about TV, gone. High Standards, gone. Jars of Clay, gone.
I like a lot of those songs.
No, but what I'm saying is, if I was to be brutal,
Tighten it up.
and tighten up the songs,
Yeah.
the second half of the record would be
Yeah, I think that's fair.
brutally cut.
Well-
but Walking By and Twisted Words would stay on the record. But this is an album where I think the second half of the album is really especially weak. And I'm not saying it's and I said on last week's app that I listened to it recently and it has some really solid songs. I think for a debut record for dudes that were super young,
Yeah.
Aaron Sprinkle had barely done any recording.
Yeah.
I think it's impressive, and they had some impressive songs on there, but
Yeah.
it's not the strongest songwriting that they've done.
It's still a classic for me,
For sure.
but it is my number 7. So that's pretty far down there. But I love it.
So my number 7 is Plans within
Okay.
Plans.
My number 6 is Plans.
Okay, so my number 6 is Ever Passing Moment.
Okay, so that's probably where our biggest difference is. Couple ranks apart there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our second half, sliding into the first half here.
This is where it gets
tough.
This is where it gets really tough.
I feel... yeah, sorry, keep going.
No, it's
Calling
number
audible.
5 and 4. This is like it's hard.
This is what I said up top, that they were tied for me
Yeah.
until this most recent assessment, and I feel pretty comfortable about saying Self-Titled is my number 5.
I have Panic at my number 5.
Okay. And
This is and then the self-titled at number 4.
yeah, and Panic is my number 4.
Okay. So I could switch tomorrow.
Yeah, I probably could too.
And here's the reason. You go through the new album, there's not a song on there that I would say is we just said there's not a song that's bad.
Right.
I still think there are some there's not a cheese moment on the new record.
Sure. There's some fat on Panic.
There's some
for
fat on
usual
Panic.
MxPx style.
Yeah. I think that there is. I think Panic is 1 or 2 songs too long.
Agreed.
And I think when I was determining, looking at Panic, looking at the self-titled, I was like, I think that they perfected that. They figured it out. They figured it out. They're like, they trimmed the fat. They had perfected the, as my film production professor at North Park would call, kill your darlings. So just, just bring it down to the bare essentials. Mm-hmm. And what I think they did on Panic, they did really, really well. But there are some parts of the new album that I think they tightened the screws just a little bit better.
Sure. I don't disagree with any of that. And let me counter yourself with yourself. When I said, when we first talked about the new record, that I thought this edged out Panic, you said that you thought Panic had more variety.
It does.
Than Self-Titled, which I think is also true.
I mean, it's still true, which is why I said I could change my mind tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because Darkest Places, Heard That Sound, Late Again, Gray Skies, Emotional Anarchist.
Yeah.
Late Again.
We're going to listen. It's great. Yeah, as much as I like the mature and consistent MxPx on Self-Titled, I just think the highs of Panic are higher for me.
It's very high. And especially since this spawned Tumbledown.
Right. I also,
we also need to I think we need to maybe comfort the listeners and say, this isn't the end.
No. There's more.
There's more, because we still have more MxPx to cover.
It's true.
We have Arthur. Mm-hmm. We have Tumbledown. Mm-hmm. We have interviews.
Mm-hmm. You got Cooties.
We got the Cootie. Oh, God.
More live records.
We have live
documentaries, EPs. Got that holiday upcoming.
Oh, man.
We got MxPx content coming for months, people.
Calm your tits.
Yeah.
We have plenty of EPs to come.
This is great content. I think The Darkest Places is probably, it might even be in my top 5 MxPx songs of all time. And I don't think anything on Self-Titled reaches these heights for me. And there's probably other songs I could say that about. I love this song.
Panic.
This record.
Panic is a great record.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason it's in my top 5.
Right.
I just think I think you can just make an argument for if we're doing a song to song comparison.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was doing holistic, complete album. If I were to do like a song to song like breakdown,
Sure.
opening song
Yeah.
next to
Rolling Strong's pretty good.
I mean,
That might even be in my top 10 songs of all time.
it's
It's gonna get hard.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's
It's pretty good.
because you still have that.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll do perhaps our top 10 songs.
Yeah,
and that'll
we
be a
have
much harder
to.
one.
It's rock hard.
I think our top 3 records are going to be the same. Let's find out.
Okay,
My
so
top 3.
okay, so what do we say? We said 4. We already did 4. So
Four is
mine
Panic.
was 5 was Panic.
Yep.
4 was the self-titled. Number
Yep.
3,
Mine's the other way around. My 3 is Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo.
Slowly.
2, Life in General.
Life in General.
1,
Teenage Politics.
My bro. I mean, as we've talked about, it's probably not the quote-unquote best MxPx album. It's not pulling down a 1.6 on Pitchfork, their highest review. But for us, it's always going to be, that's the sweet spot for us. And probably it's whatever album you came to first often, but like,
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't get better than that for me.
I think for a lot of people, they might listen to this and be like, you guys are insane.
Yeah.
But I will fight you over Teenage Politics because I cannot separate the period of time of me coming to discovering Christian punk rock.
Yeah.
At the same time discovering punk rock music,
Right.
embracing my faith, being a teenager,
Yeah.
because I just discovered them as I entered my teens.
Yeah.
This album's called Teenage Politics. I was starting to come to understand politics. It was the perfect moment.
Yeah. I agree. I think when we just talked to Mike, he was like, I feel more confident about my songwriting on the self-titled record than at any point in my career.
Yeah.
And I think he's not wrong. Like,
No.
it's probably the quote-unquote best songwriting and producing, maybe, of their career. But
Yeah.
it's not going to get above number 5 for me because there are just so many albums that have such a special place in my heart that it's just
Yeah.
impossible to rank above them. So
And I don't disagree. I can't disagree with Mike, and because it is some of the best, most consistent songwriting,
yeah.
coupled with some of the best production,
Yeah.
the best production without the slickness
Yeah. Agreed.
of
Or the cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take out the slick and cheese of Before Everything and After and Secret Weapon, and it's almost like you put Panic and Ever Passing Moment together,
Yeah.
because Ever Passing Moment was almost like the first introduction to pop MxPx.
Sure.
And Panic was kind of getting back into dark, gritty MxPx.
Mm-hmm.
And it just it marries the two for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we were closer on this top 10 albums than we were on any
Any of
set
the
of
top three songs.
And our top 3 albums were the same top 3.
They
So,
were.
there you go.
And it also, I could have switched
Yeah,
5 and 4.
agreed. Same here.
So,
Feel pretty good about the rest, but
I mean,
I really do like Plans a lot. That ranks pretty high for me.
Again, it's not 8 through 1 are.
yeah,
I
we're agreed
like-
on the bottom 2. The rest is flexible.
Yeah. The rest is super. I mean, except for 1 through 3, 4 through 8.
Yeah, agreed. I remember Danny MxPx memes saying he didn't rank them chronologically. He sort of broke them into groups.
Yeah.
And perhaps our groups are 1 through 3, 4 through 8, and 9 and 10.
Yeah. Well, and also, but Jason says Panic is his number 1.
And when he said that, I hadn't really re-listened to it again, and I was kind of like, that's a crazy thing to say. And now Panic is in my top 4.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with him there either.
No.
Let us know your top 10, your
Yeah.
top few.
I mean, this might have to be this will have to be a post.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a controversy.
I think, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what people say.
I do.
Yeah, Slowly is probably going to be a lot of people's number 1, I would guess.
I would argue that Ever Passing Moment.
Huh.
I guarantee Ever Passing Moment is going to be in the top 3 for most
For a lot of
people. Yeah.
My number 8, you mean? Yeah.
I mean, it's not too far from my number 6.
Right.
And it's not because it's a weak album. It's because it doesn't reach the level of
I agree with
consistent. Well, but then people could be like, Teenage Politics, it's fucking whatever.
that. Teenage Politics is great from beginning to end. And you're wrong if you don't think so.
It's flawless from beginning to end, and it has some of the most iconic songs on the record, and
There's literally, I mean, I don't dislike a single.
there's not a song on
Second of
here.
this
No,
album.
there's literally not a song on here that I wouldn't listen to. 19 songs, 45 minutes. It's perfect, and if you disagree, you can go straight to hell.
On that note,
What was the first half of the episode about?
it's hard to say now.
It's hard to say.
We are well over 3 hours.
Yep.
We did it.
We did it. We crushed it.
Congratulations to
Hey,
us and to
John.
anybody who's listening.
John, to
Cheers.
cheers.
Yeah. And so let us know your thoughts. You can do that over on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook
Yes, Facebook. We have a Facebook now.
at Magnified Pod. You can send us an email at magnifiedpod@gmail.com. Go ahead and rate and review us and smash that subscribe button.
Crush it.
Over on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. What else can they do? Leave us a voicemail?
Leave us a voicemail. We've said it like
Six times?
Six
So
times.
Send us some more voicemails, please. That's at 727-MAGPOD.
You want to try that again?
That's correct. 8727-MAGPOD.
872-762-4763. 872-762-4763.
Sure. Mash those buttons.
Mash those with your fingies.
Any closing thoughts? 3 hours plus into this bad boy?
Oh, fuck.
You knew it was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen.
It didn't spill on our equipment.
Because
so it's fine.
I have consumed most of the whiskey. And Harriet seems nonplussed, but I think
Per usual.
she's sniffing the spot. She
Get drunk.
to quote Spinal Tap, smell the glove. She smelled the spot.
She does.
So
Well,
next week,
yes. On our next episode, we'll have a very special interview with MxPx video director Brian Bucheltz. when it'll be about time for a podcast at our house. And it wouldn't be the same without you. So join us, won't you?
On a Saturday night in the year of the summer of sound, I was truly scared for the first 9 years on land. It was a mighty fine day in the USA, I bet. Yeah, wrote it on the back of my hand so I wouldn't forget those uptown streets.
Hey, can you ask me, do you want to have the best life?
Yes,
Can you ask them that?
Can you ask me that?
I do want to have the best life.
Can you say, do you want to have the best life?
Do want to have the best life.
I do want to have the best life. Does Harriet want to have the best life?
No.
That's sad. Poor Harriet. She just had a birthday, though, so she's having the best life.
I'm not having the best life.
You're not?
Yes, I do.
You are having the best life.
But you are having the best life too.
I am having the best life, too.
That's just a little dull.
It is a little dull. But he's my friend, and he's my doll.
Did you bring it from home?
I did. He comes with me everywhere I go.
It's kind of like how George goes to school with you and he sleeps with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Curious George.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
He's my little monkey.
Let's say one more thing in the microphone, then go upstairs and read books.
No.
Yeah, but it's late. It's time
I
for
want to
bed.
say 5.
Okay, 5 more things. Make them good.
Make him count.
What do you want to be for next Halloween?
That's a good question. I will probably be what I am for every Halloween, which is Marty McFly.
It's a solid one.
It's a solid costume.
What is your favorite toy?
My favorite toy. This guy is probably my favorite toy. My little punk. He's a good guy. He's a good boy.
But is he a kid?
That's a good
So
question.
maybe he was a teenager.
Yeah, I'd say he's
Teenage
probably, I don't know, what is he?
How many years is he old?
What do you think, bud?
I think 5.
5? I think maybe a little older if he's a teenager. Maybe 15?
Or maybe,
That sounds right.
Or maybe 21.
Maybe.
That's good.
Could be.
It's a good call.
All right. I think those were our 5 things.
No, it was not.
Oh, one more?
Yes.
Okay.
What is your favorite song?
My favorite song. Let's see. Probably my favorite MxPx song. I don't know. John, will you pretend to be surprised for?
Sure.
Well, how about I just say
I knew it was
Doing Time.
MXPX.
Yeah. I knew it was. All right, buddy.
all right.
Solid work.
Nailed it.